All right, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? It's time. We're here with some Immortal Empires action. So today's stream is going to be replays that I played over the course of the past couple weeks. They'll be against Anticity and Dov and a couple of other folks in the community as well. But should be quite a bit of fun. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to play live games for some reason, so we have to show replays. But it is going to be replays today of Domination mode. Yes, yes. It's going to be great. Welcome to the stream. So we have a whole bunch. I think in total we have... We'll see how long we're going to go today, but we have about between 12 to 16 replays, somewhere in that ballpark. So we're going to go through all of those. I'll give you guys my opinions. And also what we can do is, even though I can't be looking or have the menus open, if you guys have any questions about stats, we can look through factions. I just can't have it open on stream. Or visible. It's a very weird thing, but nonetheless, guys, we're going to be here. You think I'm going to forget about the screensaver? Probably not. I don't think we will today. I don't think we will. So we're going to be jumping into the first replay. I'm going to be pulling this bad boy up soon. It is going to be Skaven against Khorne. So this was a really, really fun match I played, and I liked the build. I actually felt like it was pretty good. So a couple things I wanted to clear up. One of the reasons why you haven't seen any ogres and why the maps are pretty much always the same and we're not using Arnheim and Itza is because in our current build that we were given, the ogres are actually bugged, so they artifact really horribly. Basically, their heads are just like popping out of their bodies on ogre bulls. They look like from the Kurt Russell, the Thing. So ogres are really have a ton of graphics bugs, and it's really bad. It's all the bull units, so you can play ogres, you just can't use bulls. So might as well just wait for that to get fixed. The other thing is Arnheim and Itza, two of the better domination maps, are currently bugged as well. So obviously we have a very early build, and they're going to get fixed probably in the next few days, I would imagine, but. That's why most of the battles you've been seeing have been on the same 3 or 4 maps. Yeah, which is good. So we'll take a look at everything. Yeah, any questions you guys have in between games, I can go to menus, I can look at things. I just can't show it on screen because we're only going to be showing replays on screen. So that's going to be it. So Immortal Empires will be coming out, I think late August is what they said. But yeah, the first replay is going to be the Rats. Correct. Yeah, August 23rd, I think is what they said. Yeah, Kairos is returning his Blockbuster VHS there as we set up this replay. Alrighty, perfect. So let's go ahead and load in here. So this is the first match of the day that we're going to be showing. Now, this is my Rats. I think this was against Dov. I don't remember. Yeah, I think this was Dov. But here we have Skaven slaves with spears. The whole front line is basically just going to be chaff, right? So against Khorne, they're going to be cleaving skulls. I don't want to give them too much quality. Now, something that you really want to take note of, though, is the fact that Skaven slaves have the expendable trait. Now, something that Creative Assembly did in the most recent patch for Immortal Empires is they made it so infantry with expendable capture weight have lower capture weight than basic infantry. So that means that 2 Skaven slaves, or a Skaven slave isn't going to be outcapping like a Chosen or like a Chaos Warrior or something like that, right? Will we see any bloaty boys today? Yes, you will. There's some good bloat coming, I can assure you. I can assure you. As a matter of fact, we'll do the bloat game next so you guys can see it. But their capture weight's still good. I mean, look, 2 Skaven slave spears cost 300 gold, or 2 basic Skaven slaves cost 300 gold, so they can outcap like a big infantry unit. I think it's a good bouncing change. Cauliflower, let's get these replays started. Also, how many marked units for Warriors of Chaos? I think it's 3. I think it's 3 or 4 Cauliflower. I'm not sure. We'll have to check. So anyways, front line is going to be Skaven slaves. You have the dreaded double bell. So we do have the Gracier of Plague, which is, obviously very, very good. He's going to be having the dreaded 13th spell. And if I'm going to be losing stuff to Khorne, I want to throw just trash in front of them and make them fight it. Now, another thing that if you are a Skaven player, you really, really want to bring against the Warriors of, or any of the Chaos factions really, is the Warp Storm Scroll. So this is like an AoE, not AoE, but it's an anti-air ability that does damage and slows them. It is so incredibly good against annoying flying units. We do also have the Plague Priest on the Furnace. Khorne has good infantry quality, so if I can't beat them with my infantry, I want to beat them with the Mortal Ascension. So that is pretty much it. An Assassin. Now, this is really the fancy part of my build, guys. I have the 2 Plague Monk Sensor Bearers. So these guys, I think they might have some good niche applications, actually, in this matchup and matchups against other demons, because they do magic damage. So these guys can cut through the physical resist of demons super quickly. They tank the leadership, making them crumble faster. And they also have 50 weapon strength. So they're pretty good, and even against Khornate infantry, so if we're talking Chaos Warriors, dual weapon warriors, all sorts of stuff like that, I feel that the Plague Monk Sensor Bearers might actually be good because they can cut through armor very, very quick. Rivari, please consider this degenerate to show more Dawi content. So we do have a couple dwarf replays today. Yeah, there's a whole bunch, guys. I have a lot of replays. In the back, we got Skaven Slave Slingers. So Khorne likes to bring spawn. So Skaven Slave Slingers, just like they were in Warhammer 2, are very, very good against those targets. So we do have a couple Skaven Slave Slingers and Poison Wind Mortars hiding in the trees. Now, for the army of my Khornate opponent, it's basically just going to be massive, just elite infantry, just looking to overrun me and hold the objective. So it's going to be bloodletters into the sunset, more bloodletters, and in the trees we do have a Blood Reaper as well as a Herald of Khorne. Blood Crushers of Khorne as well. Very interesting choice. It might be a little bit of overkill against Skaven. I think just going for like Hounds and things like that is probably a little bit better. And Chaos Warhounds of Khorne looking to contest my back objective, which of course is going to be a little bit annoying for sure. Thanks again, Reveri and Cauliflower, for the donations. I do greatly appreciate that. Now up on the top side, we're going to go for our own sneaky shenanigans, and we have the Skaven Slaves posturing to go after objective number 3, looking to maybe go and try and steal that. And for Skaven, what's really cool about this is it's like a really cheap investment, right? If I want to get up here with my Skaven Slaves and grab the objective, you know, it's only like a couple hundred, and it's going to often force a disproportionate response from your opponents. Now we got Rat Ogres going over here with some Clan Rat Spears, going to be looking to get the side flank. We do see Chaos Furies and Blood Crushers moving to that side point. And it looks like the Forces of Khorne are kind of posturing maybe to push the middle. We see the Herald of Khorne, of course, moving up. And yeah, I got to be careful. These guys hit hard. They have 400 and 375 with good armor piercing value. So Demonic Blades can pierce all sorts of armor. A lesson we learned here in Total War. Now, side objective, in a little bit of danger. You know, I got Ogres and Spears, but he's got Warhounds, Chaos Furies, and it looks like the Blood Crushers are going to be opting to go back to the middle. So that means that I am going to be able to get the side point here, and it should be relatively cozy. Now, back in the middle, the forces of the Blood God do get ready to party, man. They got a lot of elite units, including the Hellforged Host. My mortars have emerged, but now is the time where the Chaos factions are just going to be summoning out Furies galore to attack my shooting. So mortars going downtown. I think Skaven mortars are one of the best tools they have in domination mode. Sadly, some of them do hit that pillar right there, but nice bombardments aside from that. Hellforged Host, a very expensive unit. We're able to not make it quite a direct hit. It kind of was a little bit of a winging hit there, but it still did some okay damage. Now, Furies are coming in, and what's really good about Skaven and why they can deal with Furies well is because of Wolf Rats. Wolf Rat summons actually do quite a bit of damage. Very happy with that. Now, we get the objective. We have the 2 cap on them, and the Clan Rat summons have been sent out to die for the Great Horned Rat. They're excited. They love this. Great matchup for the Rats, and they're going to be pulling back a little bit. Obviously, not going super great. Trying to buy as much time as I can with my screen, and the Plague Priest is going to be getting in there with his Mortis Engine. Now, Furies are out. You can see them posturing to go after my mortars. My mortar team's still shooting, of course, going to be going after the Hellforged Host, and the 2 Wolf Rats with poison just kind of sitting in the shadows, while the Plague Priests on the bell continue to get great Mortis Engine damage. And now, of course, Khorne does have some spell resist. I actually don't know how that works against like Mortis Engine effects and ability effects, but something to take a look at. Now, nice play from my opponent here. He does get the Blood Crushers, a big anti-armor piece, and they're able to jump on top of the Plague Priest, and the Plague Priest is getting gooned pretty hard. So I really need to salvage this, but guys, you know, all you got to do in your times of need is pray to the Horned Rat, and he will deliver the dreaded 13th spell coming from the depths. And the Rats emerge, and they got their halberds out. Going to be an excellent, excellent tool against these Khorne units, and potentially can grind them down. Yeah, you can see the Blood Crushers took a bit of damage, and the Plague Priest is getting away while we sacrifice some Skaven Slave Slingers in there to do our part. Now in the front, we get the Plague Monk Censer Bearers, and look how quickly they're beating down the Bloodletters. Of course, their magic damage is really, really good. They took down one Bloodletter unit and probably will be able to take down the other one with a little bit of bell support. In the back, we do get Furies diving us, so Furies have gotten into the backfield, but these Skaven do have Wolf Rat. So the Wolf Rat's going to be jumping on these, you know, these bat creatures, whatever the hell they are, and should be able to drag them down relatively well. So you can see the Chaos Furies here are getting their bread buttered pretty good and looking around the old map. We, for the most part, are stabilizing. We have lost the 2 objectives, so objective 2 belongs to Khorne, and 3 belongs to Khorne as well. But guys, the Horned Rat smiles on the Skaven schemes, and here they come. The Skaven Slaves going to be lurking around the low ground, looking to grab objective 3. And this is probably one of my favorite things about Skaven in general. It's just like the haggard, cheap units you could just like throw places and snake objectives and all sorts of stuff like that. It's very, very good for sure. Plague Monk Censer Bearers with the Unholy Clamor, and again, Plague Monk Censer Bearers proving to be a big MVP, taking down the big armor, killing the demons. Doing some great work for sure, although some random Bloodletters just appeared from behind me. I think they were like a summon or something. I'll tell you, we were up by about 600 or 700. Again, we can't do live gameplay. We're only allowed to do replays and whatnot, so I'm going to have to try and remember all these games. But for the most part, mortars are back. We have a couple of Poison Wind mortars who have come from the bushes. The Hellforged Host is pushing us back pretty good, and you know, despite what I felt was pretty good trading against Khorne, you can see that they're starting to get a little bit of momentum against us, and obviously many of the God factions can now bring RORs from the old game. So we see the Brutes of the Hound coming out for Khorne, which is incredibly cool. Unbreakable Berserker unit, pretty good against Skaven if they're not being focused by like mortars and things like that. But we do need to get our bearings. We summon in some elite rats, so here we do get some Clan Rat Spears, as well as a Mutant Rat Ogre. I felt like I was kind of being bullied by his SEMs a little bit, by the Heralds and those different characters. So let's get a big punchy rat and see if he can get in there and potentially take down that Herald of Khorne. But again, I have fallen behind on points here. You can see the forces of Khorne are holding up pretty well. Plague Monk Sensor Bearers, they have routed, but not before getting only 33 kills. So these ones kind of got crumped. I think they had to fight the Hellforged Host, which of course is going to be a bad engagement for them. Now, more rats being summoned. Middle objective does belong to the Blood God. On the side, my Skaven Slave, my little Vanguard, did go over there, and we also sent some Death Runners. The Death Runners actually did some pretty good work. They cut through a couple Khorne units, but at the end of the day, my Vanguard pressure on the side point was a bit of a failure here, and you can see that the forces of Khorne are going to be laughing all the way to the bank as they clean off my rats on that side objective. Now, back on the middle, this is really becoming the epicenter of combat. And I feel like I'm starting to get the momentum. You know, we have our two big bells, one of which is a Mortis Engine. I now have my Mutant Rat Ogre, which is going to be coming in to punch some of these Khorne monsters. Scorch Effect going down, doing some damage. But the Mortis Engine really is the name of the game here, and I have a couple idle units. This is the thing with Skaven. They have like so many routing units that you have to be pretty careful. Now, good play from, I believe, I can't remember who this was. I played so many people in this past week, but I think it was Dov. Chaos Warriors of Khorne moving in, and they get a nice little surround of my mortars, so those little speedy units causing problems for me, but the big middle fight is going well. We get more Fleshhounds of Khorne moving in, Fleshhounds of Khorne, pretty good against Skaven, obviously a little bit weaker against my Spears and whatnot, but you can see the Khornate characters are kind of getting bullied now. They're being rammed by the Bell. The Mutant Rat Ogre is doing some WWE shit, flying through the air, really able to get some pounding on those guys, and yeah, is unsummoning a lot of units once they break and rally a valid start? Yeah, I mean, you want to unsummon. So in this game, there was lots of micro, but you should be unsummoning units that are this low so they go back into the pool. But you don't always want to unsummon. It's really a situational thing. Because sometimes even having like 23 Sensor Bearers here is going to be the difference between winning and losing. So you have to be kind of careful with that. But the Mutant Rat Ogre, just going Stone Cold Steve Rat here against the Herald of Khorne. And, you know, I like having the Mutant Rat Ogre. They do magic damage. They surpass the Demon's physical resist. And the Herald of Khorne's kind of getting his butt kicked by this big rat. You can see 546, taking a little bit of damage himself, but should be able to take him down. And yes, the Herald of Khorne does fall, backed up by the Skaven Assassin of Clan Eshin. We're down by quite a few on the points, but looking at the Khornate army, they don't really have too much left. We see, I think, some Chaos Warriors and some Bloodletters of Khorne, some Furies in the middle. We also have our Wolf Rats with Poison posturing to go after the back objective here, so we are going to be getting a sneaky little cap here. And we're still in a position where if we do double cap our opponent, we should have enough to just win on objectives here. So, Brutes of the Hound causing problems. You're also noticing that my Skaven Slaves have pretty terrible capture weight. Like, I am winning the capture, but it's not by much. The Brutes of the Hound are basically out capping like several of my units here, which is pretty funny. But not going to stand up too long against the onslaught of the angry rats here. Unfortunately, my Plague Priest does break. Rat Ogre is being pulled from Objective 1. You know, I was kind of expecting like a bunch of Fleshhounds or something to come from this side point right here, moving here to really pressure me, but I probably should have pulled the Rat Ogres a little bit sooner to try and win that fight. Now, here we do have Chaos Warhounds versus Wolf Rats. I don't remember if we got the charge off. I think both of us were kind of just moving those guys over there, but it looks like I did get the charge in the end, and so did he. But Relentless Rage being used. Look at that! Khorne using Relentless Rage on the Wolf Rats. What a meme. That's going to make them unbreakable, but I mean, my guys might still be able to win this, although I don't know, with the Relentless Rage, maybe it's going to be a little bit tricksy. But guys, the ultimate Skaven scheme. The Death Runners are coming, and Death Runners have been one of my favorite things about Skaven. They're so good at just pressuring side objectives, and these little rats are going to be moving on to the point right here, and they should be able to just take it from Khorne. We'll have to see how it is defended by the Blood Gods champions. Gutter Runners moving up. Gutter Runners also a very good choice for kind of contesting these side points, and it looks like we're eventually going to get the middle capped. We just have to get through these last Bloodletters and the last of the Brutes of the Hound, and we should have enough capture weight. Now, question in chat, have we seen changes to the Empire roster? Not really. The Empire didn't get changed too much. Honestly, they seem pretty fine. I mean, a lot of the magic has been changed. That's one of the biggest effects that you probably would see on the Empire, but overall, it's Empire's in, you know, I would say a good position here. So on the side, we take down the Relentless Rage Chaos Warhounds here, and we get the Death Runners as well as the Gutter Runners. So this would take a lot for Khorne to get rid of. I mean, I believe Death Runners would trade okay into Bloodletters, but having the support of Gutter Runners with Poison and some Skaven Slave Slingers pretty much guarantees that. And with that, the Rats are able to get a triple cap. So we were, you know, not that far off from losing on points. But overall, the trading value in this game, we were up only by about 1,500 to 2,000. But we have a lot of bodies on the field, and the Rats can drown you in them, man. They have a lot. Let me go ahead and just double check something real quick. Perfect. All right. Very cool. So taking a look at the value here, we do see that the Furnaces did okay. The little Plague Priest did okay as well. Yeah, I actually like the Sensor Bearers. I think they're pretty good because, you know, we had a discussion after this game about the efficacy of the Demonic Infantry, and maybe more so against Skaven, it'd be better to use like Shielded Chaos Warriors and Dual Weapon Warriors and things like that. you know, the armor might be a little bit more durable against some of these things, but that's where the Censor Bears would come in. The Censor Bears would really dominate the fights against the armored infantry. So I actually like this build quite a bit for Skaven. It felt pretty good. It felt pretty good. We got the Death Runners, we got some other schemes. We had Rattling Gunners in reserve, but, you know, honestly, I think against most of the big, you know, demon pressure factions like Khorne and Nurgle, maybe a little bit, but yeah, Nurgle you want to bring shooting, but against Khorne and Slaanesh, like, I don't think you want to bring much shooting. You noticed in my build, my only shooting I brought was a single mortar, which of course paid for itself, as well as some of these bad boys right here. Yeah. Oh, did the stream crash? Let's see. Hold on. Should be good. Looks fine on my end. Hang tight, guys. Refresh the stream. It's just YouTube. Yeah, it wasn't on my end. I just checked. It's just a YouTube thing. Refresh it. It seems to be working. Seems to be working. All right. So, what I was essentially saying before the stream got a little bit weird is that I think against Slaanesh and Khorne, you only ever want to bring like 1 or 2 ranged units. I mean, Skaven Slave Slingers don't really count. They're basically just expendable chaff. But like good quality, if you go 2 shooting against these factions, you're just going to get swarmed by Furies and you won't be able to protect everything. It crashed for a minute. Okay, I'm glad it's back. So, 1 sec, guys. I'm just going to refill my water real quick, and then we can do a little bit of a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions while I set up the next replay, we'll certainly do that. So here we go. Perfect. Alright guys, I'm back. So let's see what we got here. So Austin says, do you think Rat Gunners with their glorious suppression still have a spot in domination mode? Yes. Austin, I've actually had quite a few solid victories with them. I think they're very, very good. Alright, can you talk about Rampage Changes? I actually don't know them off the top of my head, so we'll have to take a look at the replays today. Carl says, I'm thinking about starting to play multiplayer matches, but since you can't test Dom mode versus AI, I find it a big leap. I have no experience. Any tips? You know, Carl, I would recommend just jumping into one of our Discord, and you can find really nice, like we have a beginner tournament going on, and you can join events like that. There's also a lot of great people to practice with of all skill levels. So just get in there and get those reps in, man, you know, and just realize like none of it really matters. If you do bad, you do good in the beginning. It's all just a learning experience. So that's what I would recommend. Ladder is also okay, but yeah, it's going to be a lot better once IE comes out. Does overall multiplayer balance feel good in Domination? Yeah, you know, Robert, it actually feels a little bit better than Land Battle balance. In Land Battle, there's like a lot of boxes and really weird degenerate stuff you can do, and obviously you have to have player-made rules to make it playable. So I think balance is a little bit better in Domination. The only thing that I've noticed so far in Domination that has been bad is the vampire counts. The vampire counts are really oppressive in Domination mode. Like, even if you're playing a player who's probably not as skilled as you, they can still just win with vampire counts because of how cost-effective everything is. Do you think Elite Infantry is better in Domination? Elite Infantry do have a place in a couple matchups. Like, for example, here you saw the relative efficiency of the Censor Bears as like a security unit. I've had really good success with, let's see, what are some other Elite Infantry? Yeah, they're okay. It's more niche, but like Celestial Dragon Guard are really, really good. Like hardcore staple. Like there's a lot of things like that. Hey, Cauliflower, big donation time. Anyways, despite getting 8 new lords, towards Chaos, I bet everyone is going to pick the Nurgle Chaos Sorcerer Lord and 90% of the time because, oh yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, we obviously can't like talk about that stuff. I don't know. Let's see. Like, I actually think most of the legendary lords have been pretty good. I mean, here the Grey Seer. The only reason I went with the Grey Seer is because he. We'll wait till it gets back up here. Okay. Okay, these are replays. These are all replays. Yeah. I don't know why the stream keeps loading. Let me go ahead and double check on my end. I say yeah, it's definitely a YouTube problem. Let me just check with the stream equipment real quick, and we'll figure it out. Okay, one sec. I don't see any frames dropping. Our kilobytes per second look completely normal. Everything looks pretty good on my end, guys. I really am not sure what it could be. I'm not sure. Refresh works now? Yeah, does it? Yeah, it's not just you guys. Oh, we'll wait till you guys load in, and then we'll get this going here. All right, we'll wait till most of you folks say that it works. I refreshed and it's still broken. I could try restarting the stream. I don't know if that's going to have any tools though. Zeech is corrupting his Wi-Fi. Oh, I don't use Wi-Fi, that's for sure. I definitely do not, my friends. Okay, my local internet. It's definitely just YouTube servers, guys. How do you think Slaanesh and Nurgle will be like in the new upcoming? Well, right now, like if we're just playing, you know, vanilla Nurgle here, they're a little bit weaker, I would say. They are a little bit weaker for sure. It's good. Yeah, I think it comes from YouTube. Because I'm looking at my internet monitoring tool and I don't see a single frame dropped. I don't see a single frame dropped. How good is Nakai? Nakai is actually very good. Yeah, he's strong. I've been beaten by Nakai several times. He is. I actually really enjoy him, man. He delivers the business. All right, so it looks like we're mostly back. Let me see. Is it buffering? Oh man. Okay. Let me just try something real quick. Hold on. I don't see any frames dropping at all. Really, there's nothing I can do about this. This is weird. All right, so let's go ahead and reset this. I'm just gonna stop the stream and restart it real quick and we'll see if it works. All right, so I just restarted. We have officially restarted it. I just re-kicked the live feed. Let's see if it works. Before we start casting, though, I want to make sure it's stable, so we'll just hang tight in this game for a minute. Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys noticed other deals with YouTube today? Yeah. You have a little bit of a delay? Oh, no. Well, let's hope for the best. Let me know, guys, if it's stable for now. Go to Turin's second channel, Professor Bone. Yeah, I know. Well, he's on YouTube too, so that would be a little bit of a problem. I've never actually, I don't think I've ever actually streamed on Twitch before. I wouldn't know what to do there. Yeah, no, Malice and Nakai are both actually relatively good. Is there like a weird loop? Internet warps from today. No kidding, dudes. No kidding. All right, so let's just hang tight for a minute, see if we can figure this out. Hope for the best. Are the dwarf changes? Dwarves are for sure one of the weaker factions. Yes, some other streams have been crashing for you. Okay, seems okay. It's all good for now. Okay. First stream you're watching today, sadly. Well, let's hang tight for a minute and see if we can get it. Hopefully YouTube will stop being a troll and we can get going. I'm not having any internet issues on my end, so. It works, it's fine? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So far seems good. Hey, look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived. Oh, hold on. I see a little swirling icon. I can see the buffering now. What is going on with YouTube today, man? Working well so far. The loop has ended. You guys are back. Okay. I don't see any internet drops on my end. I did see the buffering icon for a second. I guess that's what was indicating that we're back. All right. So it seems like we're okay. Seems good for now. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this glorious match between the Dwarves and the Vampire Coast. So this is myself facing off against Anticity. So let me give you a little bit of a preface for this game. So essentially, we had played some matches with Vampire Coast with going with like a kind of a gunline style of play, where it's using guns and cannons and artillery to try and control the battlefield here. But in this case, it hadn't been working very well. The Vampire Coast and the testing I had played and the games that we had played hadn't really won too many games with the artillery style of play. I mean, a little bit was fine. So he is going to be trying out somewhat of a kind of a bull rush style. So he's got a bunch of sirens, which have always been pretty good against dwarves. Now, for my build, it's going to be Rangers, Bugman's Rangers. We got a combination of Longbeards, Blasting Charges, and a Thoric Ironbrow in the front. The idea is that we kind of control right here, like 3 and 2, and we just kind of bounce between these two. That's that. Not buffering ever since you restarted. Glad to hear it. Yeah, glad to hear it. So hopefully we were able to solve the problem. Now, looking over at the Vampire Coast Army, guys, it is going to be a bunch of Sirens and Deckhand mobs. We do also have Count Noctiles here, the Hard Knock Life, and Halberds. Now, in my assessment of the Dwarves, you guys, of course, saw a replay on the channel where the Dwarves were able to do pretty well. Uh-oh, I see Spirit of the Sand saying, oh no, hopefully it's okay. It looks fine on my end. We will have to see. But the Dwarves are good if people play into your strengths. So let's say I'm in the middle here, right? I'm controlling objective number 2, and your opponents move in, and they just want to kind of bump and grind with you here. Well, yeah, you're probably going to win because Dwarves get to benefit from the choke points, things that really, take away their big weakness, which is being flanked, right? However, what good players do against the Dwarves is that they simply just move around the sides. They just play the side objectives, and the Dwarves take like 45 minutes to get to the reinforcements, with the exception of Rangers and like Miners with Vanguard deployment. So in my testing so far, the Dwarves have hands down been one of the weaker factions, which is a bit of a shame because they're so cool to play. But anyways, Siren spam has always been pretty good against Dwarves. It's one of the metas because Dwarves have some magic damage, but not that much outside of like a little bit of runic, treachery. So ethereal units also did get buffed in this most recent IE patch. So I really, really do like this change quite a bit. Quite a bit. Yeah, this is a really fun replay. You guys are going to love this one. So right now we're going to be getting our Blasting Charges over. We have our Dwarf Warriors. We have these guys. And what basically ends up happening is you overload to deal with this, and then they just kind of swarm in the middle. So we see Depth Guard being moved in, Deckhand Halberds, Count Noctiles up on the high ground with Pit of Shades. Pit of Shades is really good. It's become one of the better crowd clearing spells now that Pendulum has been nerfed, and I think really is going to be a staple here. So shots from downtown, Rangers going to be shooting into the Sirens. Not too much damage, obviously, but they don't have a ton of HP, so it still doesn't hurt. But again, ethereal units did get a buff, which I don't really think they needed, but they did get it across, I think, every single roster. All the ghostly units did kind of get popped. In the meantime, we have some Miners with Blasting Charges threatening this back point, just looking to kind of keep tabs on that. And in the front, we do have the Depth Guard getting ready to move in here. So here are the Depth Guard. These shots from the Rangers should be able to put some hurt on them. We do also have Blasting Charges nearby. Depth Guard, in my experience, just get cut down super, super quick. And, I guess grinding against Dwarves, they can do pretty well if they're not being focused by missiles. But you can see, despite their 90 armor, these Depth Guard are going to be getting the business pretty bad. So big, big shots right there. Hey, Midgard, thank you for the donation. Greatly appreciate it. Longbeard's going to be pulling back, trying to kite the Depth Guard back. The dreaded Dwarven kiting, very, very strong. We got him at about half health here. And with the Blasting Charges coming in, they should get, dispatched pretty quickly. Unfortunately, though, Vampire Coast did snake the side objective. Granted, we brought Gotrek as well. I figured that he would be Siren spamming on this map, so we wanted to bring someone that did consistent magic damage, and that's what Gotrek is for. So Gotrek is able to chase them back, Invocation going, and this objective is going to be going to us while Vampire Coast looks to overload the middle, and we'll see if they're going to be able to get it. Now, one Depth Guard has fallen and paid the troll toll. As far as the objectives go, the back one is owned by Vampire Coast, a couple Sirens. We have some wild Blasting Charges going down here. This was probably a mistake. I was feeling a little bit ambitious, so I was like, if I can get a big Blasting Charge there, that'd be really good. Pit of Shades also going down on the Bugman's Rangers. Very, very nice. And unfortunately, Mourngul's also moving in. Now, Mourngul's were actually pretty strong before some of the changes because Monsters Infantry used to have, really insane capture weight. That was changed, though. Now Cav and, Cav have better capture weight. Like, I think it's in a much better state because people were just spamming big Monsters Infantry and pushing off objectives, and it was very, very stupid. Nonetheless, we secure the side objectives, and this is where the Dwarves struggle, right? Like, bouncing between objectives is very painful for them. And he's got, all these infantry that have like 40, 50 speed, and he can really move back and forth between the points. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm like, okay, I'm going to be committing everything to the middle at this point, and I'm just going to leave the Peak Gate Guard over here. So Peak Gate Guard are a Dwarvish Hammerer unit, which might seem weird against Vampire Coast, but they do magic damage, so against Siren spam, I feel like they're one of the better tools. We get some Fellbats landing here. Thoric is moving his way back to the middle. And as far as the value trading goes, it was actually a little bit in my favor. I'd gotten a little bit more damage, but that's very, very typical for the Dwarves. And now you can see here, we are going to be seeing these Sirens moving back to the other side, looking to pressure objective number 3. Now, you see what I'm saying. If we had had a normal situation where the fighting is only in the middle, we would be in very good shape, but him bouncing back and forth is very strong. Now, the dreaded Organ Gun has been summoned from the deep, so the Organ Guns and mid-ranged artillery is actually quite good. And here you can see they're shooting in. The Mournguls are getting absolutely wrecked by the Morgan gunfire. Oh, that's pretty fun. By the Organ Gunfire, certainly buttering some bread there as Thoric Ironbrow moves in. He, of course, does the magic damage, also making him a relatively decent choice against the Sirens. And now we see the triple Sirens here. Now, one of the higher level things that you'll see amongst the Domination players, or I should just say multiplayer folks, is that they'll use faster infantry to outcap you by just like running circles around you, and if you're like a slow dwarf infantry, you can really struggle with this. So that's a little bit painful, but we do have some blasting charges moving over to help out a little bit. We are starting to get some good value trades in the middle. So Bugman's Rangers, Basic Rangers, all these different troops getting good shooting, while the Organ Gun from downtown is able to get some good blasts. And the Ruin going down as well. Thoric doing a little bit of magic damage there, but you can see kind of how lackluster that is compared to other factions that have like Dragon's Breath or Wind Blast type effects, different things like that. That is for sure. We do have some Dowie moving through, so some Dwarf Warriors. And this is the first of the bloat play. I saw this coming. It was like one of those moments in a movie when like a hero knows that he's going to have to sacrifice himself. I was just like, I literally have nothing I can do against this bloat. And all jokes aside, guys, I think bloats are going to be good in Domination. So here they come. Oh, my poor dwarves. They're just like, all right, well, let's just take one for the team. Oh, just absolutely blast into the Shadow Realm. Dwarf Warriors are wavering. And those bloats are a menace, man. I'm telling you, they're doing some serious work. Now, the grinding is going okay. We're starting to get through them. The back point, very secure. I don't really have anything that can solo a Cyrene efficiently here. And this is what I'm talking about. The triple Cyrenes just outcapping me here. Going to be trying to move up on my dudes. The Peak Gate Guard, of course, doing well, taking down many of these Cyrenes. But against dwarves, it's not so much about outvaluing them. It's more about outcapping them and just like forcing them to lose the points and then have to recapture them. Here, of course, the Peak Gate Guard just aren't able to do anything while the Cyrenes just run around. And this really is the issue with the dwarves. They don't have any cav or mobility to really go after those guys. So the bloat getting some good work. Yes, there's going to be more too. I think in this game there was like 2 or 3 really, really good bloat plays. Rangers shooting from downtown. Bugman's Rangers getting swarmed, but we are slowly pushing them off the objective here. We have some blasting charges trying to fight off the zombies. Taking a little bit longer than I would like, especially with the Cyrene flanking. We have to pull in some Slayers out of desperation to try and get this point back, so we do chase the Cyrenes off, but even though the value trading is relatively even, we're struggling to get these points, man. It's been very, very tough. Organ Gun's still going, and the Organ Gun actually shooting into the Cyrenes here, and not doing a terrible job. We have some Longbeards moving for the side point, so getting a little bit desperate here. Going to be summoning in Longbeards as well as blasting charges to go for objective 1. Vampire Coast does have a good shooting concave now, so they have their 2 deck gunners here, so you can see the deck boys are just blasting here, and I don't really have the long-range tools to deal with them. The Organ Gun, of course, could, but it would have to scoot up a little bit more. Really, really nice shots, though, man. Cyrene's proving to be the big issue. Again, in a very tight formation, I think Dwarves could deal with Cyrenes pretty effectively, and here you can see we do get the point back, which is nice. Slayer's going to be chasing these Cyrenes down, but now we're pretty much to the point where we would have to triple cap him, because though, like I said, the value is going okay, our pressure on the points has been a little bit tricky, but the Organ Gun, I really, really do like it. It's been doing great. I'm trying to keep an eye out for more bloats. Yeah, okay, guys, the bloats are coming. Here they are. So, yeah, oh my god, the dreaded double bloat's going to be going for the side objective here, moving on over. And honestly, I have Peak Gate Guard here. Do you know how badly this sucks for me? Do you know how bad this is? Like, how am I going to deal with these guys, these bloats? There's no way. Some more shooting in the middle. We started to steal the middle, but now we're actually starting to lose this position a little bit. As Vampire Coast is getting a good shooting line, the deck gunners are getting in position. Cyrene spam just really, really, really hard to deal with. I think I would have to change my playstyle. Maybe use some like gyrocopters with the steam cannons to try and soften them up. But with the buffs to the ethereal units, honestly, they become even more strong against dwarves. Now, we are going to be stealing the side point, but another bloaty boy is coming this way, so that's going to be very, very precarious. Cyrene's also moving over, and I think Cyrenes, we don't really have anything here that could be super good against them. Queen Bess would be really good here, but Queen Bess is currently bugged in this version of the build. Queen Bess has infinite ammo. So that's why you're not seeing too many replays with Queen Bess, because it's broken and has infinite ammunition. So, Bloated Corpse moving its way on over. We have the dreaded double bloat in the backfield coming up and over the hills, and I gotta tell you guys, this sucks pretty bad. There's 2 of these guys, they're thick, they're pissed, and we are gonna probably get wrecked on this back objective. Oh man, the bloats and Cyrenes have just been the scourge of the dwarves, because I don't have the tools to deal with them. I don't have like, normally bloats are dealt with by like focused gunfire or like SEMs running into them, but with dwarves, I feel like I'm like struggling really bad against them. In the back, Cyrene's being picked. Organ Gun is still online. The game is okay for us. We did get a double cap at this point, so we were able to steal this, but a bloat just goes and flattens my miners with blasting charges. Absolute brutality right there. I think the Longbeards might be able to hold back the Cyrenes long enough to just hold on to this objective for the rest of the game, which is good. We have this one, but guys, it is Gotham's Reckoning. Peak Gate Guard getting in, hammering down some of the Cyrenes. Should be a very, very good fight for me, but the bloats are here. Trying to blasting charge this bad boy, but you can see the blasting charges actually don't really do too much against these guys, and I'm like, oh god, it's happening. The bloat is coming. All hail the mighty. It's going to be moving in. Second bloat's on its way. And right now, we did manage to get the 2 objectives eventually, but Vampire Coast actually surpassed us in value as well, even though we were ahead by a couple thousand in the early game. The mobile Cyrene play forced me to overextend a lot of units, which allowed him to win a lot of these engagements, you know, that would normally be a little bit tough. So, Longbeard's doing great. I know what you guys are here for. You're here for the hot bloat action, so let's make sure to show you guys. Here he comes. This is like one of the worst feelings. This is literally 1,000 value going to this bloat. Oh my god, I just can't escape. He's too big, he's too thick, he's looking for them chicken tenders, and he does get the big explosion there. Peak Gate Guard getting rocked pretty good, although honestly they tanked it relatively well. But at this point, you know, he's got the 1 objective, I do have the 2. My only chance is if I can somehow secure the middle. So we're going to be bull rushing to the middle of the map. We have these dwarves, and you know what, guys? A glimmer of hope. Although this back objective's looking a little bit tricky. Longbeards are holding like champs, but with the zombies coming in, who I do not believe are expendable, so they actually have a good capture weight, they're going to be getting that. But the middle is coming into our hands. You can see the capture weight is going for us. We're slowly starting to wrestle it from the Vampire Coast. So really, like, we had a chance in this game. I think the army comp was a little bit off. I think we have to switch them things. And to be completely honest with you guys, I'm not sure what yet. But we do get the middle objective. We get objective 3. We have another bloat coming on the far side there. But a little bit of a bloat ball there as it's not able to get on those units. But overall, man, the bloats were actually pretty good. Yeah, exactly. So I think gyros with brimstone guns might be good. Gotrek was a bit of a waste, honestly, because the Syrenes can outrun him, right? So I basically wasted like 1,300 gold on that. So I like Thoric. The rest of the army's fine. I think we cut Gotrek, go double Steam Cannon or maybe Brimstone, or even a Gyro Bomber with a Master Engineer could be pretty good with the Fiery Rings of Thori for some magic damage against these guys, and I think that would be good indeed. So well played. Super fun game. Really, really fun one. Bloats were awesome. I mean, guys, look at this bloat right here. This guy got 1,062 value. Nuts. And I think that was the best bloat. He was the top performer. He was the one who got the Peak Gate Guard here. But yeah, I've had a lot of discussions with other folks. Now, keep in mind, like, it's just the opinions of like 3 or 4 people. So it really doesn't carry much weight in terms of like overall factual analysis. But in terms of anecdotal experience, most people have assessed that the Dwarves are one of the weaker factions in Domination mode just because of their inability to play the objectives like very effectively with cav and mobility. But I do think that Dwarves are going to have some niche applications for sure. I don't think they're going to be bad in every matchup. But against like mobile factions, yeah, it's going to be tough for sure. All right, so O-Town Firefighter. Do Wood Elves get high and dark hero casters now? I don't think so. I'll take a look for you right now though. All right, so one sec. We're preparing the next replay. GG, well played. Certainly a fun game. So what was your question? Do Wood Elves get... Okay, hold on. I don't think they do, man. No, they don't. Wait, no. Yeah, okay. I was wrong. Yeah. So wait, the Wood Elf caster you're asking has dark magic, and the Spellweaver has high magic and dark magic. Yes. Yeah, correct. So let me go ahead and get rid of that replay. So let's put it to a poll with what you guys want to see next. I have so many replays. I don't know how many we'll get through today. But you guys got to see the Skaven versus Khorne. We got to see Dwarves versus Vampire Coast, with the bloats actually being good. And now let's put it to a vote. So what do you guys want to see next? We can only do 4 choices here. Next game. And we will do... Okay, so that one is... We have that. Okay. So counts. We have... That is actually an interesting one. We have Cathay versus Dark Elves. Okay. Yeah, if Dwarves had some magic... If they had some magic stuff, that'd be very cool. Alex says, game looking way more fun with all the factions. Oh, dude, it's so fun. I'm like, I have that like feeling of like desire to just get in there and play again. All right, so then we have, that's kind of an interesting one. Oh, we have Tzeentch versus Norska. That was an interesting one between Anticity and I. And then aside from that, we want to do Beastmen versus Demons of Chaos. You guys vote on what you want to see, and don't worry, we're gonna get like, I have Lizardmen replays coming too. They're not in this poll, but I have them coming today, so don't you guys worry. What about High Elves? High Elves are actually much better now. I have a High Elf replay going up tomorrow, showing them just stomping the yard. Yeah, they're pretty good. All right, you guys vote on what you'd like to see, and we'll cast that game next. And it should be pretty good. Cathay vs. Dark Elves was a really cool one, actually. It was a game I played with Samurai Warrior, who's an Italian YouTuber, also a good multiplayer guy. It was very fun. O-Town Firefighter, I'm talking about the hero. Spellsinger, no, I don't think you have it on a hero. I don't think you do, but I'll check for you real quick. Hold on, boss. No need to donate again, but I do greatly appreciate it. No, the hero has beasts, life, and shadows only. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting the vote on here. Let's give it a second longer so you guys can really decide what you'd like to see. Shin says, what I wanted to find out about undead counter balance, I had to search 9 different videos and channels until I found one. Yeah, so here's the thing. At the end of the stream today, my friend, what we'll be doing is just answering any questions. So once we get through the replays, I'm just going to sit here for like 30 minutes to an hour. And whatever you guys want to know, like what's the melee attack on this? Like we can look through everything straight up. I mean, I can't show the menus, unfortunately, but I can still answer the questions for you guys. Is Warriors of Chaos good in Domination? Yeah, they're pretty good. All right, so very, very close vote. You guys want the Counts versus Slaanesh? Or do you want Cathay versus Dark Elves? I need there to be like a tiebreaker here. You guys need to pour in one way or the other because they're tied right now. Yeah. What's your favorite method of figuring out army builds? For me, it's kind of like making sure all your boxes are checked. So obviously a big strength is knowing every faction like I do. Like I know all the factions. So like I'm like, okay, can I deal with this aspect of their roster and this aspect? And as long as I have something that can deal with both of those, then I feel pretty confident, or whatever it is. All right, you guys want Counts for Slaanesh? That is going to be it. Cool. So let's load in. This was a pretty fun replay. This was, and this wasn't even the most oppressive Vampire Count game, right? This one wasn't too bad. This is like a more fair game because it's a bigger map. All right, so let's go ahead and switch on over. Which one is this? There we go. Okay. Here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Slaanesh versus the Vampire Counts. It's going to be Prince Sigvald facing off against Helmengorst. And you guys are about to see the tyranny of the Vampire Counts. It has come. Although Slaanesh honestly has some pretty good tools for fighting them. I would say that Slaanesh is one of the factions that can actually beat them, though it's still heavily Vampire Count favored. I don't think anybody has a good matchup against Vampire Counts, except maybe Lizardmen. Lizardmen actually have some pretty good trades against them. But that's been it. That's been it. Hey, we'll do the Cathay game next. Don't worry. It's coming. It's coming next. Don't you worry. Hey, Garland, thank you for the 50. He says, for the lady in the wa. Feast, brother, I will. I will. All right. So, as far as the builds go for Slaanesh, it's going to be Exalted Demonette spam. So I know they're pretty good. So I spammed a bunch of those with Aluris and Prince Sigvald. Sigvald is a pretty good blob fighter. He, of course, has the big AoE debuffs with the Paragon of Excess, which is new. He's got the Auric Armor, and I did not bring his sword here. Didn't feel like it'd be very, very good. Or did I? No, I did bring it to show you guys. So we have Silver Slash, or Sliver Slash. It gives magic damage, base damage. You know, it's okay. It certainly makes him a pretty good fighter for sure, but that is going to be kind of the epicenter of what he's got. Now, aside from that, we do have some Hellstriders, we got Seekers, and a lot of mobility to try and contain the Vampire Counts a little bit, while the elite infantry do move up onto the objectives. Now, for the Vampire Count army, it's going to be zombies, skeletons, the 600 gold Mortis Engine, aka Helmengorst. We have a Corpse Cart and a Necromancer, who's the one who's actually going to be having all the spells. 2 Blood Knights. Blood Knights are just so good against the Slaanesh stuff. I mean, they wreck your infantry, they wreck your cav. They're just so scary to deal with. So scary. Fellbats being summoned out. It looks like they're going to be bringing out their own Walmart Furies, looking to move around and do their part. And we have some more Exalted Demonettes coming from the far side. So the Exalted Demonette's going to be popping out. They're a very good individual unit, and that's one of the reasons why demons are strong in general. So the Exalted Demonettes of Slaanesh are going to be moving on over to Objective 3 to try and hold this bad boy down. Meanwhile, the Vampire Count's going to be pushing up to the middle. And yeah, basically with Vampire Counts, you just mouth breathe and just push straight down and keep summoning units. It's pretty much how they roll. I actually had a game against Anticity where he was playing Dwarves and I was playing Vampire Counts, and I was down by 9,000 value and I still won the game because I just kept throwing trash at the objectives. It was like the most absurd thing I've ever seen. And yeah, overall Vampire Counts, if you guys are an enjoyer of the Sylvanians, then you're going to be really, really quite happy for sure. Yeah, they've always been pretty tyrannical, for sure, indeed. But I think that Lizardmen have a good matchup. I think Slaanesh actually has an okay matchup against them. So this you guys will see. Slaanesh will have some good tools here. Sigvald is definitely very, very scary. Now, slight fast forwarding as we posture. You can see my mobility down here. We grab 3 and we grab this one. So we do have the 2 objectives here. Vampire counts are going to be moving up, and we just need to kind of fight their big, disgusting blob here, which is going to be hard. I only have 2 Exalted Demonettes, but we do have the flanking tools. I'm kind of eyeing these Blood Knights, eyeing the prize here. As the other Exalted Demonettes going to be moving up from the low ground objective, while we replace them with some Devoted Marauders of Slaanesh. So the Devoted Marauders going to be moving on to Objective 3, whereas the other Exalted Demonettes are going to come up and fight. So you can see, I mean, these guys, Slaanesh is really good at buzzsawing through infantry, right? They do their weird little demon anime run here, and they're going to be jumping in, cutting through the zombies, and the zombies are probably almost dead. Yeah, you can see they're at like half health after a couple seconds. Sigvald's getting in there, and the mobility, getting some good charges here. The Seekers of Slaanesh moving into the zombies as well, and another flanking charge coming in. So overall, we've been able to break through the chaff, and Helmengorst is getting attacked already. Prince Sigvald's getting in there with the 1980s outfit, and he's going to be just definitely beating down Helmengorst. But the Mortis Engine's still very, very good here. Indeed, quite problematic. So we got Furies up in the sky. Wanted to kind of see how Furies do against Fellbats, and it looks like it's actually a somewhat even fight, which I was not expecting. I thought my Furies would just kick their butts, but the Slaanesh Furies don't have the same, prowess as the Nurgle and Khorne ones against light armor. They're more of like an armor-piercing specialist type unit, but overall, I feel like the trading is going pretty well for us. The Exalted Demonettes are, going to be trading extremely well into Skeletons and Graveguard here, and Helmengorst is actually almost already dead. So you can see here Sigvald's getting some work. He is actually on the run, and, Sigvald's got pretty good mass himself. I think it's not terrible. Can't quite click on it here, but yeah, Helmengorst is almost already dead. So that's a huge boon for us, getting rid of the Mortis Engine and the leadership of the Vampire Army. Now in the back, we do get Blood Knights circling around. We do also get the Dire Pack, so I do intercept the Dire Pack with some Hellstriders. And now the Seekers are going to be turning around to engage them, whereas my other Cav Corps is going to be coming to fight the Blood Knights, and we do also move some spawn up to help in the bump and grind. We do have the double objective, so we have 3 and we have 2 at this point. So we are winning on the objective game, which against Vampire counts, you really need to get on those objectives super quickly. Although this is a pretty unfortunate engagement for me, because the Seekers are just getting heavily out-traded by the Blood Knights. The Blood Knights are basically just wrecking like everything I know and love, especially in conjunction with the Dire Pack here, which is very, very strong. Now, Devils being moved in, more Fellbats, Vampire count summoning all the different creatures of the Knights. Sigvald has pretty much already killed Helmengorst. Helmengorst's critical binding, Scroll of Shielding is down, and I know if I get rid of Helmengorst, my infantry corps is going to be terrifying. The Exalted Demonettes are just doing the work of the gods, really, holding back the entire Vampire count army, and also buzzsawing through the chaff pretty effectively. And here comes the silver or slashing shards, or slicing shards. I knew I was losing this fight, so we summon in the big Slaanesh magic. That's going to be dropping down there, and it will do a little bit of damage. I think it actually ends up doing a little bit of friendly, but yeah, it hurt my spawn a little bit. But it did buy me some time. It forced back the double Blood Knight. And Helmengorst is not super long for this Earth. Sigvald's really, really going quite deep there. And the Fellbats do claim the dominance in the skies. So Vampire counts can beat you in the skies. The Fellbats are able to do the job. Helmengorst here on death's bed. He's got like 400 HP, negative 24. Exalted Demonettes still grinding, but the Blood Knight charge here in the back is going to be quite devastating. That's going right into the back of my Demonettes. Although, thankfully for me, the Fellbats landed first, and the Fellbats actually screwed up the charge pretty badly. So I didn't just get like straight up Alpha Strikes like I potentially could have here. Heartseekers have been brought in, so we brought in the big elite heavy hitters, and the Heartseeker is going to be getting the devastating flanker into the back of the undead Cav. So we get a big charge there, huge armor piercing. Blood Knight's going to be taking heavy casualties here. And now we have another good sustained fighting unit in the Heartseekers that hopefully can hold back the Blood Knights, although it looks like there's another Blood Knight here. They're just all over the place. On the flank, things are getting a little bit messy. Also, Vampire counts with the capture weight. And at this point during the game, guys, I was up by about 2.5 to 3,000 value. I had been getting pretty good trades, but you'll notice that the Vampire counts with their healing and their summons and their just pushing power are still pushing me back even off my objective, despite the fact that we were getting the superior value. So Sigvald just tar pitted here, and Sigvald finished off Helmengorst, but he didn't hear no bell, man. Sigvald's going in. He's going to go after the Necromancer. He's like pushing through zombies and shit. And yeah, he's just been an absolute beast this game. Although I think the Greater Demons of Slaanesh could be really good for winning some of the blob fights, but Sigvald's been like really, really good staying power, and he's got that really nice AoE debuff now. But this is what's tricky. Like haggard skeletons and zombies and just vampiric infantry are now on my point, and I'm going to have to find a way to wrestle this back, which isn't going to be easy. Now, I'm up by a bit. Sadly, though, we didn't get enough points to win on just one objective. That was kind of my game plan, was to hold this long enough that I could win on one objective and then pick them off as they get a little bit closer. But even still, Blood Knights finally being hammered by the Hellstriders, and Furies of Slaanesh are also super, super good against Blood Knights. And we're finally going to drag these bad boys down, I think. It looks like their model count is getting very low. The Hellstriders are trading well. They only have 14 models, but the Sternsman and the other Vampire mobility has gotten here. We killed the Necromancer, we killed Helmengorst, but they're still going! Like, they're still just grinding! More Hell Scourges coming out. I need anti-infantry tools. Slicing Shards going down does hit these Stearnsmen as well as the Skeleton Warriors. And just trying to get those Whips of Slaanesh to clear out the Chaff units. But the Vampire Chaff is actually surprisingly hard to kill, man. It's been taking a long time to get them down. And we do have some time to reclaim the objectives, but he did also get the cap down here. So Direwolves plus the Black Coach coming in. So the big old Black Coach really able to wreck my Marauders down here. The devoted Marauders of Slaanesh did get their butts kicked, and that was very stressful, man, because I was like fighting tooth and nail to try and get this objective back. The Allurus is going to be running over to this, and look who's back. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Helman Gorst is back. And guys, he only costs like 600 gold. So basically, Dov can just keep resummoning Helman Gorst for like 600 gold. So killing him really easy was good for the sake of the fighting, but like he's just back already. And he's going to be moving on to the point. So we are starting to clear off the vampires here, but they're closing the gap really, really quickly. We will be summoning some mobility here of our own to get that objective back. And now we have some Hellstriders and some more Hellstriders coming to fight. Unfortunately, though, Direwolves will kick their butt because Direwolves are infantry sized. So even though we get a good shock charge on them, the sustained trading will be a little bit better for the Direwolves. And they're almost off our objective here. So Hell Scourges cleaning these Skeleton Warriors, which seems to be taking forever. And now we're going to be moving up to threaten this objective. I'm trying to take a little bit of pressure off my position, but I do have to double cap them relatively soon for sure. So Hellstriders, Allurus, Furies jumping in the back. Devils obviously being a pretty good unit. I mean, they hit hard for sure. I've enjoyed all the kind of weird niche picks, and that's one of my favorite things about Domination is how it's kind of bringing a lot of units that were normally pretty terrible back into the limelight here. But nonetheless, guys, you'll notice, like, I am looking worse for wear. I was ahead by about 2,000 value, but taking into account Vampire Count's healings and their summons, it probably wasn't, like, that much the case in terms of, like, actual balance in the game. So Hellscourge is trying to get in there. Sigvald doing well, just battling Skeleton Spears. But he killed the Necromancer and Helman Gorst and got over 2,000 value. The Devil's getting beaten down here, but, like, the Vampire Counts can just keep throwing stuff on the objectives. And unlike the Dwarves, who can do the same thing, Vampire Counts have like really good cab and mobility too. So that's what really sets them apart from other factions for sure. Now looking over here, old Slaanesh trying his best. We get some devoted Marauders moving up. We'll do a little bit of fast forwarding here because it takes like a long time to get my units. And I have a lot of replays I want to get through today. So if there's moments and lulls in action, we'll do that. Seekers moving in. Seekers against Stearnsmen should be pretty good. Stearnsmen, of course, are pretty much the ideal target for this type of unit. Sigvald finally battling through the Skeleton Spears. We need a double cap at this point. We do have some Hellstriders with Hellscourges down here, but there's more Direwolves waiting, and I just don't have like the points to kind of get everything that I want to get here. That is for sure. And it makes me think. I think perhaps instead of going with the Lord of Slaanesh, I felt like this matchup was very winnable here. Like I didn't feel like at any point it was like, oh my god, I have zero chance. Like in the early game, I felt like we were pretty in good shape with the trades. Perhaps a slightly different army composition. Even though Sigvald was cool, I almost feel like an Inkari type character or a Keeper would have been a little bit better for just like really, really just heavy stopping power. I also feel like Lord of Shadows could have been the way. I think Shadows could have been incredibly strong. And we are going to get this bottom objective back. You can see our Hellscourges and our Furies able to jump on the Hounds. The Black Coach is down here, but won't do too much against these type of units. And we're getting this objective back. So we are finally recapping our double points, which is nice. But in the end, we just don't have enough time. GG. Well played. So, let me just go ahead and double check this real quick, guys. And perfect. So taking a look at the value, Sigvald was an absolute beast. 2,100, 1,300 here. We have the exalted Demonettes of Slaanesh. They were just awesome. I mean, they held for a long time, which is important in that matchup. Because while they were alive and fighting, you know, my opponent didn't get to the objectives. Heartseekers were interesting. I don't know how I felt about them. But I do think the Keeper would have been a little bit better than Sigvald. Even though Sigvald was Super Saiyan and did kill, you know, both the important aspects of the vampire counts, I think that the Keeper would have done it twice as fast and also could have helped clear out like the Stearnsmen and Graveguard and could have had a little bit more action all over the battlefield. But very, very fun. It was a fun game. So yeah, overall, guys, I have played as vampire counts and against vampire counts maybe, I don't know, 12 to 14 games, and I think they've only lost 1 or 2. Like, Vampire Counts are hands down the strongest faction in Domination. And what's strange is Creative Assembly actually buffed them recently. That was one of their big initiatives, was to buff them, which I think was a big mistake. But overall, I think there are factions that can beat them. I've seen Lizardmen do very well against them. I think Slaanesh can do well against them. Tzeentch actually does pretty good against Vampire Counts as well. It's not like the worst trade in the world, but yeah, Vampire Counts are still favored, but Tzeentch can do well. For Slaanesh, also another kind of school of thought is I could display a ton of mobility, but the problem is Skeleton Spears just sitting on objectives is very, very tough to get rid of. Very, very tough. GG, well played. Fun game for sure. So, we're going to get the next one going. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining today. And let's get this going. All right, so that was Slaanesh. You guys wanted Cathay versus Dark Elves next, so we'll do that. All right, so where are you at? Cathay versus Dark Elves. Here you are. Vampire counts got buffed, yeah. They just got a bunch of buffs. They got like magic damage. They got like bonus for infantries. They got like HP buffs on a bunch of random shit. It was just nonsense. I was so against it because they were already tyrannical. But what can you do, man? You can't have it all. You can't have it all. Turn anybody. Well, Warriors of Chaos and Demons of Chaos. Yeah, I'm gonna allow Demons of Chaos in my tournaments. Yeah, I am. And yeah, I don't know what other tournament hosts will do, but I can speak for myself, and that's going to be the game plan. They don't seem that OP. Bellicor is a little bit overpowered, but not so much. Not any more than like Vampire Counts, right?
Then victory is
so let's see, did we load in properly? We did. Good, good. Do you think demon factions need their more... yeah, it could be nice, for sure. Could be nice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with Grand Cathay. We got Jade Warriors in the front. I have to say, ever since the Immortal Empires came out, I've been a big fan of Cathay. I feel like they're actually good in a lot of matchups. They have many of the strengths of Dwarves with magic and mobility, right? So I do, at the end of the day, feel like Cathay is just like a better Dwarf faction. They still do struggle against some of the Demon factions a little bit, but in this most recent patch, they buffed Cav. So Cav units have better capture weight now, and Monsters Infantry got nerfed. So Grand Cathay can actually use their Jade Lancers and their mobility to go over to side points and do quite a bit. Now, taking a look at the build here, Jade Warriors in the front, backed up by crossbows, and we do have some Crane Gunners in the back for long-distance shooting against any big Dark Elf threats. And we went with the Storm Dragon too. So we have Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon, who actually feels pretty good here. Like, I figured if there was Malice or Marathi or some combat character, I would want to be able to fight them with a big angry dragon. So here she is ready to party, and that is going to be that. Now, as far as what we have on the side point here, we do have the Dune Dragons. Now, the reason why I went with Dune Dragons is because they have magic damage, so if there was any Sisters of Slaughter or those type of units, they would be able to fight them better, and they do have an Astromancer moving with them. Now, for my opponent here, the Great Samurai Warrior, he's going to be going for a big flank overload, which makes sense. So if you're playing against like Dwarves, anything like that, or Cathay, you don't want to go down the middle. What's going to happen is if you go down the middle, you're just going to get caught in a shooting gallery and you're going to lose. Instead, what you do is you play objective 3 and you play 1. There's really bad line of sight up here, so you just, use that to your advantage and get in there and do some work. Yeah, I have a greenskin replay. We'll do that next. Yeah, we'll do that next. But it is going to be Witch Elves galore, Cold One Dread Knights, a Sorceress of the Dark, as well as Malice Darkblade, who, guys, he can out-heal his demon magic now. So when Malice transforms into a demon now, he truly gets a second life because he outpaces the amount of damage that he does to himself, which is just so, so good. I love it. So knowing that this is going to be a little bit of a problem, Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon, is going to be turning into the Storm Dragon. And now we're going to be heading up to the high ground to cause some problems, summoning in more Celestial Dragon Guard. I really, really need to hold these points here and get the job done. Any changes for Grombrindle? No, he looks the same, but he's very good. He's certainly not bad. Man, look at that. That was actually pretty good. Yeah, that was the Chill Wind spell from the Lore of Dark, and the Witch Elf's going to be blitzing this point pretty heavily. We will have a very, very good control over the middle objective. That's like 100% for sure. Jade Warriors are going to posture up on the low ground, the crossbows, and try and shoot some of the Witch Elves here. But here comes the big push. It is on. The fight is here. So Witch Elf's going to be piling in. Should be able to take down the Dune Dragons with enough magic support. But Miao Ying is here, and she, of course, is a very good fighter, has some nice AoEs. And she can cast her best spell in dragon form, which is the Talons of the Night. So the Talons of the Night is ready to go. Here comes the fight. The Dune Dragons standing at the ready. I should have countercharged here, but I do get the Chill Wind. And the Witch Elf's going to get hammered pretty hard by a little bit of low ground crossbow fire. You actually see some coming from down here, which is very, very nice. And in the back, this was a really nice play from my opponent. He did come in with the Cold One Knights, and the Cold One Knights were able to kind of circumvent my halberds. And they're just going to get a beautiful downhill charge. So my poor Jade Warrior crossbowmen here are going to have a really bad time. But guys, this old man is not without schemes. I see them coming in, and I overcast the Talons of the Night with Miao Ying. I'm like, sacrifice them to the Dragon Emperor! So we basically sacrifice our Jade Warriors, but we also basically just one-shot the Cold One Dread Knights. They get absolutely wrecked by that. They go down to like barely any health, and we should be able to clean them up relatively effectively now. Tobizzle, thank you, man. Appreciate you being a member for 10 months, and yeah, it's now. Tobizzle, thank you, man. Appreciate you being a member for 10 months, and yeah, it's going to be great, Tobizzle. It's going to be great. Good times are coming. The Dune Dragons still fighting up here, able to defeat the Witch Elves, but Malice Meanblade is doing a great job. He's on his Velociraptor, causing quite a few problems here as more and more Witch Elves do move around the flanks. Dune Dragons, Madness of Cain, and the Demon's Curse, a lot of unfortunate debuffs on them. But we do break the Coldland Dread Knights, and Miao Ying the Storm Dragon fighting extremely hard with the Jade Lancers coming in with the rear charge on the 5 armor of these Witch Elves. It should be pretty good, although the charge kind of got thwarted a little bit. Now in the middle, it looks like they're maybe trying to get in. We do see some Harpies being used to shut down my Jades, but that's what Peasant Horsemen are for. And I think the Bleak Swords got buffed, guys. They actually have a lot more melee attack now. They have 36. It used to be like 31. So they're quite a bit stronger, but nonetheless, they're going to be moving downhill here and trying to get the objective. But Cathay is very, very good at holding objectives. They are basically like Dwarves in that regard. Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon, she's currently rampaged, but, you know, fighting with her halberds here. Malice could be in a little bit of trouble. The Dune Dragons took a huge beating. I mean, they got like 2 or 3v1'd, and they fought for a long time. I was very, very happy with their performance, but you know, this is starting, in many ways, to look like a Cathay game of old, right? Where we're a little bit stuffed back. We can't quite recapture the points, but don't worry, guys. Things are changing, and Cathay certainly has some tools to fight against the Faldruki. Jade Lancers moving in. Jade Lancers should trade reasonably well against the Witch Elves, although these are the Sisters of Singing Doom, who, of course, do have pretty good pretty good combat stats. They have 57 melee attack, so they might still be able to trade well here. And the Celestial Dragon Guard will be moving in as Miao Ying continues to fight and lend her Dragon's Maw to this fight. Big attacks. Jade Lancers moving up the hill to take down the Harpies. Crane Gunners still maintaining decent firing power here. While the Jade Warriors are just like, they can do this all day, man. They got their 39 melee defense. Bleak Swords have almost no armor piercing. Jade Warriors are going to be very, very happy to hold this position and do well. But the big thing for me is I'm starting to fall behind in points, and I really, really do need to get this objective here. I need objective number 1. It's been very tricky, and now we have Malice fighting the Storm Dragon. So Malice actually out-trading me a little bit, and the Witch Elves are here. Malice is very, very scary. And now that his demon form isn't a meme anymore, he's going to be a pretty good like bruiser character on these objectives and things like that. So quite scary indeed. Miao Ying pulls back. We pull back to the Celestial Dragon Guard, and we're going to start gooning this Sorceress of the Dark. So Miao Ying does find the low-hanging fruit here, and is going to be trying to chase his caster off the battlefield. We do get the break, which is huge. So now the Druki are going to be without magic, and this is relatively early in the game as well. So getting that break near the edge of the map was very, very strong. So more crossbows moving up. The Dune Dragons moving in to try and help with these Harpies as well. And so far, the Dark Elves are kind of struggling to get the middle objective as well, although I love this play from my opponent here. He summons in some Shades, and the Shade's going to be throwing some serious shade here into my Jade Warriors. Granted, we do have shield, so it's not the end of the world. So we're just going to try and push them off here. Obviously, these Jade Warriors are going to be kind of condemned to some sort of a doomed fate, but if I can just push these Shades away and buy more time on the objectives, then that's going to give me more time to set up my formations and do all that sort of good stuff. So the Storm Dragon here, fighting against Malice. Malice is a little bit trapped here. We got him pinned in Celestial Dragon Guard as well as Jade Lancer, so he's going to have an incredibly hard time escaping. I do unsummon some beat-up chaff units in the Celestial Dragon Guard RORs, and more Jade Lancer is going to be moving from the hills. Well, now the Dark Elves going to be going full pedal to the metal in the middle. Now, Dark Elves do have a little bit of a buffer. They are down 2-1 on objectives, but they do have about a 700-point lead, give or take, so that means that they're going to have some time to kind of get their bearings. But having... oh, this is a little bit of a funny graphic bug, by the way. So for some reason, when Malice transforms into a demon, it shows the face of Katarine here, which is super funny for sure. But nonetheless, Malice... He's trying, man. He's on his Velociraptor, but he is surrounded, and he doesn't have the mass to escape those units. And the Dark Elves trying to push through on the high ground. So we do see a couple Bleak Swords trying to make their way in, with the Jade Lancers as well as the Jade Warriors still holding them back, although leadership is a little bit fickle here. Unsummoning some beat units as we can. But guys, some serious bread is about to be buttered. As the Talons of the Night is coming in, guys, look at this beautiful damage. Oh my god, absolutely wrecks. Just destroys that Dark Elf force as those Bleak Swords get dragged into the realm of shadows. You know, just big damage there. They're broken, they're shattered, they're broken, they're shattered. And even though I did lose some units of my own, that was pretty good. I mean, we took out about 1,200 value there and really broke their will to fight. Now, back objective belongs to us. Malice has the icon for Katarine, but he actually still looks like... He still looks like Zarkan here. Yeah, he still does. So he's got the Bloodstorm, he's unbreakable, obviously being a little bit of a menace, trying to wrestle that objective here. We get the Jade Warrior crossbow shooting into the Witch Elves and whatever other troops we can. You know, I would have actually liked to have seen Hargoneth Executioners here. I feel like they would have been pretty good against a lot of my units, like these different. But the Witch Elves, of course, are very quick. He was able to overload my side objective for a while, but in terms of sustained trading, it's going to be a little bit tricky. So Malice taking down my Astromancer here. Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon, is moving around, just playing very defensively here, because I don't want to move into the Witch Elves, get Rampage, and then just get Karate Chopped. So we're going to go back into human form now. So Miao Ying is back in her mortal form. I don't know if she's even immortal, actually, still probably the Storm Dragon. But the reason why we did this is so we can cast a regrowth. Jade Lancers intercepting the Dark Riders here. We do have the Jade Warriors continuing to fight. More and more Witch Elves are on their way in. And we're going to be scheming a little bit of a back cap here relatively soon. Malice Darkblade was able to punish my high ground. And I mean, look at that, guys. Malice is an absolute terror. I had a lot of units up there, and he was able to fight them all off. And you can see now he is healing quicker, I believe, than the damage he's taking. But I think he has to be in combat for that to work. So currently, right now, when he's out of combat, it's not going to be so good. Big Vortex going down here does hit my Jade Warriors. A lot of damage, but they still continue to hold. And again, you're seeing why Cathay is kind of like Dwarves, but with magic and Cav. They're able to kind of really hold these positions. Dwarf units individually are a little bit better than Cathay units, but Cathay, of course, has the diversity of the Empire. Cathay is kind of like if the Dwarves and the Empire had a kid, it would be kind of basically Cathay. Miao Ying fighting here, getting some nice Storm Dragon attacks. Jade Warrior crossbows dragged into melee, but they're able to kind of win the fight. As far as the points go, we have surpassed the Dark Elves. The Dark Elves are going to be getting some shades to play this objective. And Malice is still just being a scourge, man. He's been over here the entire time. What does his value look like right now? Let's go and check. It's at about 2,100 value, and yeah, he's just picking apart all my different units right there, man. It is a nightmare for sure. We actually have a little bit of harmony here, so the crossbow's getting some harmony. You can see they're all close, so we're actually getting a little bit of the Cathay synergy, which you don't see terribly often. And the Druki, for sure, going to be playing the side point. I do have some beat-up Celestial Dragon Guard here, and some Jade Lancers, and some more Jade Warriors, but the Reaper of Souls is now active. Malice continuing to bump and grind here. Jade Lancers trying to get a downhill charge. They might be able to get a little bit of work against those Dark Riders, but the Shades of the Dark Elves, one of the units that I've always anticipated would be pretty good, are actually really disruptive here. I mean, they take down my Celestial Dragon Guard. They're doing quite a bit. Peasant Horsemen going to be summoned in from the deep as Malice continues to just absolutely destroy these Jade Warriors. We're going to send one of these peasants after the Shades, and the other one's going to be going after the Dark Riders here to try and hold them back. Now, as far as the points go, it's pretty even here. I would say the middle is a pretty secured situation. The Dark Elves have pretty decisively lost the fight against my crossbow and halberd formation. But the Storm Dragon knows she is needed in the north. The transformation is here. Oh, that's so cool looking. Yeah, the Dragon Twins are so rad. I mean, come on. How do you beat that? Look at that. Oh, that's so rad. But the big dragon lady is going to be moving up to the high ground now, showing that, you know, she can be a real good combat presence in multiple areas, which is one of the reasons why I kind of like her. The dragon-blooded lord might still be better, but arguably, like, I'm pretty happy with Miao Ying's performance this game. There's been like terror routes and other like disruption she's got, and yeah, been pretty good with it. So Peasant Horseman fighting against Shades, actually doing a ton of damage. The other Peasant Horseman fighting against Dark Riders. I think Dark Riders have slightly better stats. No, they don't actually. 26, 26, 28, and 24, 24, 28. Dark Riders are a little bit faster and have more armor. Okay, so there's a little bit of a trade in stats. Honestly makes it a pretty even situation overall. So we got the schemes going. I know the Dark Elves are going to be going for an aggressive cap here, and they might be able to get it from me. I mean, they have a fair amount here, and Malice, of course, is still very disruptive. You can see the capture weight is going for the Dark Elves here. So what we do in response is the dreaded Cathay back cap. We get the Peasant Horsemen, we get the Jade Lancers, who recently have had their capture weight buffed. Now, one infantry unit will out-capture one cav unit, but if I do have two cav units and get a good surround on them and start killing models very, very quickly, then that is going to be a huge, huge win for us. Yeah, Dark Elves is pretty close to getting this objective. We do have the Duel of Fates. We have Miao Ying battling Malice Darkblade here in the tree line. Malice is a little bit of a better fighter than Miao. I mean, Miao is very good at fighting, but Malice is just like, in his demon form, dude, look at him. He's got 100 melee attack right now, 540. She has 580, but his melee attack difference is so good. He also has better melee defense than her, so he's trading pretty well. And I got to tell you, during this moment, I was like, come on, bring him down, bring him down. More repeater crossbows from the Druki are on their way in, so repeater crossbows is going to be shooting into most likely Miao, I would wager, to try and help Malice win that fight, because Miao is actually taking a little bit of a lead. Malice, of course, does damage himself, and Malice actually healing capped himself in demon form, so at this point, he is... yeah, he is getting bullied by the Dragon Lady. Oh, I was wondering how I lost this fight. The treacherous Druki with the Dark Riders. Because Malice was getting his butt kicked, but Miao Ying started to get focused by those repeater crossbows, and she actually breaks, I think, and potentially runs off the battlefield, or maybe Malice is going to get the kill. Looks like he might. So that was pretty unfortunate, but Malice, you know, as is his fate, is going to be consumed by the demon. So Miao Ying does fall, but so too does Malice's soul as Zarkan takes him to the warp. Now, looking around here, they do get this objective, but we were able to bunker bust the high ground one. You can see kind of some of the options that Cathay has now with better cav capture weight. We're able to just wreck those bleak swords, and the Jade Lancers and Peasant Horsemen do a good job, and that is going to be GG well played. So certainly a very fun match. That was a great one. Good scrap, back and forth. You know, they had a nice push up on the high ground where they took our objective, and yeah, that's that. Okay. Perfect. There we are. So Miao Ying with crazy value. Crazy value. 4,163. Malice Darkblade, though, guys, he probably had close to 5,000 value because it still has that weird bug where it doesn't combine his damage value from both of his forms. So he has 3,500 value in his, I think, mortal form, and then his demon form is probably another couple thousand. So Malice had over 5,000 value, guys. Absolutely insane. Like, absolutely insane. The Witch Elves, I don't think are very good against Cathay. They were good for stealing the point initially, but I think you need, like, Harganeth Executioners, Dark Shards, like that sort of stuff. That would be way better, right? Because imagine Harganeth Executioners. I would struggle. I mean, although my Temple Guard units, or the Cathay Temple Guard, the Celestial Dragon Guard, could be good there, but overall, it's a little bit tricky. A little bit tricky indeed. Yeah, Malice was a beast. I'm really, really happy that he's good. No, he's not a meme anymore, dude. He's not. Did they change Murderous Mastery? To my knowledge, they didn't. Realm of Souls got changed from the for the Gym Kings there. Yeah, I mean, I think Dark Elves can totally beat Cathay. I think you just need to bring Dark Shards, Shades, Harganeth Executioners, Bleak Swords, Dread Knights, like that sort of stuff. Like, the Witch Elves were good for overwhelming, but they didn't have enough armor piercing to win the big fights, despite Malice being a raid boss. Yeah, we're going to have a Lizardman match coming up. I also have one going up on the channel in the next 2 days, which was a really, really good one, with Oxyotl. That video is recorded. It's not going to be today. Yeah, Immortal Empires feels somewhat balanced. Like, I mean, as balanced as a Total War game with 23 factions can be. The only thing that's really overpowered is vampire counts. Like, vampire counts are gross overpowered, and I think everybody agrees with that. Like, most of the people who have been playing have been saying that. What the hell? There's like a... Oh my god, there's like... Guys, there's like a... So I live in a pretty rural town, and I just got a big jumping spider on my desk. Hold on a sec. Oh my god. Let me get this thing. I'll be back in just a second, guys. All right, guys, we're back. I spared it. Yeah, no. I'm a bit of a softie, guys. I can't, like, we see like Black Widows and like all sorts of spiders all over our house and garage. It's not uncommon where we live because we live in a pretty, little mountainous valley, and I always spare them. I'll capture them and release them outside. Spiders are our homies, they deal with all the flies and other shit we don't like, so if we're talking like a fly, then there's not going to be any mercy whatsoever. Like, that fly is going to get karate chopped into the Shadow Realm. But if we're talking like spiders, creatures like that, I'm really a softie, guys. Yeah, I can't do it. Can't do it. But I mean, like, look, there's going to be situations where if there was like a nest of spiders, like, we would have to get real about that. Yeah. No, spiders freak me out, dude. They freak me out hardcore. All right, so let's put it to a vote here. We have some other options. Okay, so let's start another poll up so you guys can vote on what you'd like to see next. Next game. So, okay, we have that one. Which other ones did we not put to a vote yet? That's kind of an interesting one too. Oh, this was a fun game. And what other ones are we missing here? Yeah, we already had a Skaven replay today, didn't we? Yeah, that was the very first one. All right, you guys vote on what you'd like to see, and we'll get this going for the next game. Do let me know. Night Goblins are pretty good. Yeah, they're not... the Night Goblin RORs are one of the stronger tools. Yeah, they're one of the stronger tools. I'm held hostage by the spider. Yeah, it's like behind me right now. It's like, yeah. It's eyeing me. Any information on Tomb King spell changes? I'd have to go look. Yeah, I Grimgore versus High Elves, Chaos versus Lizardmen. Those games were pretty spicy for sure. Yeah, both those are pretty damn fun, man. Slaanesh is here too. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna be here for a while today, so we'll be casting a bunch of games. I want it all. Yeah, we can do it. We'll more or less do it all today. I don't know how many replays we're gonna do. Probably about 2 or 3 hours worth. So we've been here for a little bit less than an hour. So yeah, don't you worry. Should be quicker now. All right. Once we get around 600 votes, I'll close it. The Skaven versus Slaanesh game was pretty fun. Yeah, that was a good one. A lot of pebbles were thrown, I can assure you that. A lot of Skaven slave slingers. A lot of haggard pebbles. You guys are going to get a Heil free play tomorrow too. There's going to be a standalone Heil free play where it was them versus Kislev. It was a really fun game actually. We had a dwarf game today. We had 2 dwarf games today? No, we just had 1. I think they lost it. Yeah, it was against Coast. Yeah, I'm not sure which ones you're referring to, Robert, but not sure which ones you're referring to, my friend. Yeah, Grimgore carries it. Yeah, Grimgore's carrying this vote right now. So let me give you guys a couple more details about both these games. In the Grimgore game, it is Grimgore and a Rogue Idol versus Eltharion the Grim and the Everqueen's Courtguard. And if we're talking about the Chaos vs. Lizardman game, which is also really good, it's Kolek against Nakai the Wanderer. So I mean, guys, there's no easy choices here. This is just all brutal. Like those are both really fun, really fun options. What's the difference between Slaanesh and Dark Elves? Yeah, there's not too many, I suppose. They share some common ground. No, dwarves can win for sure. They're just very map dependent. Like dwarves can only really do well on smaller maps. Like if you're on a big map, dwarves just can't get there. They're too slow. Yeah, Grimgore and a Rogue Idol, yeah. Okay, so we have gotten there. It looks like the High Elves have done it. So let me go ahead and set that one up. And we'll just do the Chaos game right after. Don't worry, guys. You're getting both of them, so don't stress it. All right, here we are. This is a fun one. This game has more meme elements in it because, you know, a lot of the replays I've shown you have been kind of sweaty builds where we try and really, you know, min-max and use only the really good stuff, but this is going to be good. Don't worry. Yes. Embrace it. All of you guys are going to be happy once you see the Greenskin build. And Greenskin's actually got a lot of buffs. They got a lot of buffs. To cost. Like Orc Boys are cheaper, Squig Herds are cheaper. There's a lot of nice stuff. All right, guys. So for the build, it's going to be triple Black Orcs. So Black Orcs are obviously have always been pretty good against High Elves, right? So we got triple Black Orc with Grimgore Ironhide. We have a Orc Shaman with the Foot of Gork and the big Chad Rogue Idol. Oh yeah, come on, guys. Tell me you don't want to see this thing in Domination mode. Look at that. Look at that beast. So he's just shambling across, looking extra cool. Now, taking a look here at the High Elf army, it's going to be White Lions, of course. Not a bad choice against Black Orcs. Some spears in the front, Silver and Guard, backed up by the Everqueen's Courtguard, basic archers, and some spearmen. Eltharion the Grim's going to be coming with Soul Quench as well as some healing spells, and that appears to be it. The big man is here. He's here to stomp the yard. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Rogue Idols got changed, by the way. They're unbreakable now, so let me go ahead and show you guys. Where is this? Yeah. So Rogue Idols cannot route. You have to, they're like Terracotta Sentinels. You have to kill them to the last, which makes me think maybe Rogue Idols could see a little bit of play in some matchups. I don't know, it depends. I'd have to like look at the capture weight and how they work here. Soul Quench going down there does blast the Orc Shaman. Very nice cast there from my opponent. Beautiful stuff. And Eltharion the Grim is going to be pulling back. So, oh no, he actually gets a charge here. Nice. Might be able to pick off a couple Black Orcs. Looks like he does a little bit of HP damage, but he's no Karl Franz, you know, but he does try his best. And the Black Orcs actually return the favor relatively well. I wasn't sure if he was going to stay a little bit longer, so I do use your next to try and slow him down, which was a mistake. Grimgore was going for the kill, but Eltharion the Grim is going to be able to get away here. So, obviously, as I've kind of explained to you guys about Domination mode, if I went right down the middle against the High Elves, they would have these natural choke points, right? They have the walls here and the walls here, and they would have a missile gallery, so they'd be able to shoot me super effectively. So what you want to do, just like what my Dark Elf opponent did to me last game, is you just play the high ground objective. So here we're going to be playing this and this, leaving the middle down here, and just trying to win these points, and then eventually we will collapse into the middle. Is the winter over? Yeah, the winter is over for Total War. I mean, I'm going to be doing, of course, both Total War and Age of Empires, but there's going to be daily Total War content in terms of like replays and everything. I was just basically waiting for Immortal Empires because the state of the game before this is just, it's rough. It's rough. Let's be honest here, guys. But the war is here, baby. The Black Orcs have made it to the high ground. My build is pretty haggard, guys. It's all melee. I decided to go no range, DACA, just all fightiness. So everybody in our army is basically just melee focused, which might live to regret. We'll have to see. Now, Savage Orc Biggins are going to be holding this back objective. I figured if the High Elves sent any cav back here, they were an option. Since I had the maximum amount of Black Orcs in my army, I couldn't bring any more. So the Savage Orc Biggins here are going to be trying to hold these guys down. We'll see. Eltharion the Grim moving in. Savage Orc Biggins should be able to put a little bit of hurt on him. Now, we are going to be maneuvering to the middle. So the Haggard Hordes have come. Squig Herds, of course, a lot cheaper. They only cost 300 gold now, which makes them incredibly cost effective. We do also have some Snotling Pump Wagons, some Flappas coming out, so I figured let's party, let's have some fun. Not a bad tool at diving into the Archer lines of the High Elves, so they're going to be moving in, and we will see what's going down. So Grimgor Ironhide, the man, well, I wouldn't say man, the Black Orc, the myth, the legend, is going to be moving down to the middle with the big boys. And the Rogue Idol, dude, look how cool that thing is. It's so rad. Oh, man, I want to get one in tabletop. But Everqueen's Courtyard going to be causing me some problems. Archer shooting in as well. The Grimgor immediately takes a pretty substantial amount of damage. But guys, we're not going to tolerate this. The yard is being stomped. The Foot of Gork doing huge damage. The Everqueen's Courtyard getting absolutely stomped down to about 40% HP. Now, we didn't kill any models, but they're going to be primed up for like a charge or any sort of additional damage that we could do there. So Foot of Gork, still a pretty good spell. Yeah, it does a lot of damage. Now, here comes Grimgor. Moving in here, they do get the Apotheosis. That's going to be incredibly cost-effective. Squig Herd's going to be trying to find their way through as the Black Orcs do move in. High ground objective controlled by us. We have Warlord's Boys up there as well. Black Orcs and Nasty Skulkers kind of guarding that objective, and now we are moving in to fight in the middle. So here comes the Rogue Idol, baby. Going to be clapping some of these High Elves for sure. They have some of the best attack animations in the game. Oh, come on. Show us one of your cool animations. I think he's like stuck on the pole or something. We'll have to see. But anyways, he'll be attacking in a minute. We'll keep tabs on him. Grimgor and the Black Orcs in the meantime, fighting like champs, able to potentially break through these white lines. And the idea is to get the cheap Squig Herds, only 300 to move them up and through the sides, and have them get around and cause some problems. Meanwhile, the Pump Wagons have gotten on top of the Everqueen Scorecard, and they've already taken out about 12 models, which is nice. And yeah, I think my Rogue Idol's like legit stuck on this pole or something, because he's not properly attacking. Or maybe I was giving him the wrong attack animation. We'll have to see. Okay, here he comes. Yeah, now, oh man, is there something wrong with this Rogue Idol? Yeah, you see he's like starting to attack? Oh no. He only has 7 value. We'll have to keep tabs on him. I don't know what's going on with that Rogue Idol, but nonetheless, he's absorbing a lot of shots, which is good. Now, the Squig Herds, oh, there he goes. See, right when I look away, he starts stomping. Oh my god, come on, Rogue Idol. I look away for 1 second, and the man starts going crazy. Squig Herds, though, a great disruption piece, and we also have some Squig Herds over here fighting against the Silver Helms and the High Elf Cav, but really good job by my opponent here to screen the backfield and keep the Riff Raff out. In the meantime, we do have a little bit of a split push. The Rangers of the High Elves have moved in against the Savage Orcs, and a little bit of support from the Silver Helms. Hopefully the Savage Orcs will be able to win this sustained combat here, especially with their bonus first large cutting through the Silver Helms. Yeah, because now the Rogue Idol seems to be doing a little bit better. And, you know, just to cheer you guys up, here comes another Foot of Gork. Boom! Right on the face of the Everqueen's Courtyard. Instantly takes them down. So that was 2 Foot of Gorks, man. It's a lot of Winds of Magic, but it does take out one of the big expensive pieces. And now the Rogue Idol is fighting again. So it seems like he's going. The Wa is active. It is resounding in the valley. We also have Stone Trolls in here. Stone Troll's going to be very, very fighty. Oh, yeah. Look at that shot. See, now he's giving us all the shots. He's giving us all the goods now that he knew he was disappointing us in the beginning. Arcane and Forging is going down, and that's going to do a little bit of damage. Not super good against Grimgor, but not too many good choices. We are starting to wrestle the objective, and now I'm pulling my units from the sides that I figured would be useful. Good counterplay. The High Elves do summon in the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower to start shooting down the Rogue Idol, which is unbreakable, of course, so he's going to be tough. But, you know, the High Elves are starting to push me back a little bit. Grimgor, of course, is fighting like an absolute beast, but my Black Orcs here are getting worn down. Eltharion the Grim with some nice cycle charging has been able to put some good disruption, and the Archers have been shooting the whole time. Stone Trolls actually get punished very, very badly. But thankfully on the high ground, we do well. So the Warlord's Boys, the Squig Herds, which only cost 300 gold now, super useful. And Savage Orcs fight the Rangers back, and looks like the high ground is going to be secured. So even though like the High Elves might be getting good value against us, at this point in the game, the value is actually dead even. But I had the advantage of the objectives, and that's pretty decent considering that I have some Black Orcs sitting up here idle, but I really wanted to make sure I had these. So, big Rogue Idol still fighting. What kind of value has he got? Probably not a whole lot, only about 500, but he has been absorbing a ton of firepower and focus, and has been a bit of a presence for us here. Grimgor, in the meantime, is going to be battling Eltharion the Grim. So we have Grimgor, the biggest and the baddest, getting some help from the big homie here, is going to be trying to clap the bird. And the rogue idol does get a nice rear attack, and it looks like Eltharion the Grim takes some damage, but he does have access to healing and is a decent combat character. Warlord's Boys moving from the high ground here. Nasty Skulkers have come from reserve. More Savage Orc Biggins going to be piling in to try and help, whereas the High Elves are having to use their cab back here to clean up the Haggard Pump Wagon. So the Pump Wagons kept coming back from route, which is really funny, and trying to disrupt that bolt thrower, but in the end, they are going to be paying the price. So Phoenix Guard moving into the middle to try and lend a little bit of anti-large, but the Rogue Idol still going like a champ. Still stomping and terror-routing units wherever it can. And the Squig Herds, I think, are one of my big MVPs. These units have just been disrupting archers, just swarming over the battlefield. They have amazing, amazing armor piercing. And overall, I'm pretty happy with their performance. So we got the Mage trapped up here. Stone Trolls have come back from the route, so Stone Trolls as good as ever. Now that we got Savage Orcs here, it's going to be very, very tough. And, you know, we do have the triple cap on the High Elves, which is going to be very tough for them to come back from. Looking at the back objective here, it looks like there's a sneaky Ranger coming to try and steal this point here, but we also have sneaky tricks as the Night Goblins. The 8-peak Looney is going to be waddling in, so here they come. Oh yeah, they got their shanks out, baby. They're going to be, for sure, able to dispatch these guys. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Eltharion the Grim lands once again, but Your Next is popped, and his armor is sundered by the little goblins. Grimgor was able to not get too many attacks there, and it looks like the Everqueen's Court Guard, they didn't hear no bell. 48 models and like 600 HP. These ladies are back, and they mean business. But the Squig Herds are relentless, my friends, and we just needed to defeat the Phoenix Guard, hold the high ground objective with the Black Orcs here. You can see the White Lines of Praise thinking about moving up here, but they should be defeated by Black Orcs pretty decisively in combat, and the Squigs will cometh as Grimgor will lead the charge. A couple Goblins also going to get in there. So Nasty Skulkers will trade pretty effectively against Phoenix Guard for the price point. So we get in there, we're going to pop a Flash Bomb. Grimgor Ironhide being an absolute menace this game, and this is one of the things, like I said, about Domination. I really do enjoy how like Haggard units are actually good now. Like, I feel like Grimgor is not great in every matchup, but here he's actually pretty good. Like, Malice is good. Like, that would not happen in land battles, because he would just get kited and dragged through the mud, but in this situation, he could do well. More Squig Herds moving in. Looks like it's probably going to be GG. As we see the Elves moving on all sides, we do get our Black Orcs with some Spider Riders coming in. The Wah is going to be sounded once more as Eltharion the Grim does land up on the high ground. But, ladies and gentlemen, that will be it. Grimgor Chadhide is able to hold. What a game. High Elves are not weak in Domination. That was just not like a super optimal build. It wasn't a bad build, but my build wasn't optimal either. But I think there's other things the High Elves need to be doing. Like, they need to be using like Dragon Princes and other tools to hammer the side objectives. They have some really good heavy cav, and also Reavers. Yeah, no, High Elves, you guys will see a replay I'm putting up tomorrow where the High Elves are very, very strong. But, Greenskin's got some tools too, man. I love the swarming element, like the cheap Squig Hoppers, like all that sort of stuff is very, very fun. High Elves aren't like good, but they're average, I would say. They're average. All right, so taking a look at your boy Grimgor. Black Orcs obviously traded pretty well. The Rogue Idol ended up getting about 1,600. It almost paid for itself. Almost paid for itself. And looking at the reinforcements, we had the Stone Trolls, we had the Savage Orcs. So the thing, Kelgar, about doing if I were doing land battles with Greenskins versus High Elves, what's the point? It's like, we've seen it a million times, and it's only different because it's Domination. Yeah. Got any Wood Elf replays? Not too many, actually. I got to get some more of those. I love the Eltharion. I mean, he actually didn't do bad. He got about 2,000 value. And despite getting Foot of Gork like 2 or 3 times, the Everqueen's Court Guard held on like absolute champions. Crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah, it was fun. What could have been good too would be like chariots, like the High Elf chariots. The White Lion chariots would have been really good. Like, they would have wrecked me. Like, what could this army do against White Lion chariots? Like, so let's say you come in with your starting army. You cut like most of the riffraff, keep the core units, and then just like get White Lion chariots. Dude, that could be really, really good. No, Cathay I think is actually better than High Elves in Domination mode. Cathay is not bad in Domination, guys. They're good now. They're just not good against the demon factions, but if we're talking about like the older world, they actually trade very well. They trade very, very well indeed. All right, so let's get that next replay going. I don't know if there's any changes to Eltharion, but honestly, he performed pretty well for us that game, for my opponent. Yeah, Dowie are probably one of the worst, for sure, sadly. They just really struggle with the objectives. They enjoy their land battles a little bit more. So you guys wanted Skaven versus Slaanesh next. Okay, so we'll do that. I have a Be'lakor versus Beastmen game with Malagor, which is pretty fun too. I do have a Wood Elf replay versus Tomb Kings, actually. So I do have one Wood Elf replay, but it's on a very weird map where you can't really shoot missiles, so it's not the best for Wood Elves, but they can still win it. Oh, no, wait. You guys wanted Kolek versus Nakai. That's what it was. Okay. Kolek versus Nakai it is. Let's get this party started. Sorry, guys. It's super hot. I'm going to fill up my water real quick, and then we'll get this going. All right, guys, we're back in business. What's up? Welcome. You guys are just joining. Thank you so much. Stay hydrated. That's right, man. That's right. We had a Katarine game, yeah. Not quite, John. Not quite. All right, so this is a super fun match. This is Warriors of Chaos facing off against the Lizardmen. And I think I'm able to bring 4 marked units. I can't remember. So I think I have like a couple Slaanesh units and then also some Khorne units. I can't quite remember. No, Nakai is good though, because like you can't drag him around as much. You have to fight him on points. So like those kind of brawly characters that were just absolute trash house memes in Warhammer 2 are actually much better here. Yeah. And that's that. We'll take a look at Nakai. We'll see if there's any hard changes. I don't recall, but I think he's just better because of the nature of the game. Yeah, High Elves can do well though, guys. You guys will see tomorrow. I have a really, really good replay for them coming up. All right, so it is Kolek Suneater facing off against Nakai the Wanderer. Kolek got reworked as well. So he's got a new ability called like Herald of the Storm or something, which makes him quite a bit stronger. Now, as far as the build goes, we're going to be on Eye in the North here. It's going to be a Chosen front line. So we have, oh, look at the shields. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't look at them up close. So the shields have the glowing eyes. That's so rad. Oh my God. So we got double Chosen to obviously fight Lizardmen infantry. We got Kolek Suneater. Kolek's obviously a monster. He's got the Tempest Rage. That's what it is. So he just gets all sorts of stats. Armor piercing, base damage, charge bonus, melee attack. It's very, very good. We have a single Hell Cannon. I figured it'd be pretty good for like sitting up here and nuking objective 2 and 3. And a Shadowcaster with the good Shadow Magic. A couple Marauders on the low ground. And that is going to be it. Now, looking up here in the hills, for the forces of the Lizards, it's going to be Nakai the Wanderer. So looking at his stat line, I'm trying to think. Yeah, so he's got the... Wait, whoa. Is that a change, or do my eyes deceive me? So not only does the Golden Tribute actually give you Perfect Vigor, but it looks like it gives Ward Save now too. So all nearby allies get 10% damage resist, which is super strong. That is super strong. That's new. I don't think it used to be like that. Wow, that's really good. Okay, that makes Nakai a very good pick. He's got an AoE slow, and I mean, yeah, like a moving Ward Save piece that also keeps you in Perfect Vigor. That is really, really strong. Star Chamber Guardians, cohorts with javelins. We do have a couple, the Bastiladon, the Rev Crystal, and a Skink Oracle up on the big boy here. And yeah, he's going to be trying to snipe my lord. These things, of course, have crazy anti-large shooting, so if Kolek's going to get popped by these guys, that is going to be quite good indeed. All right, let's get this party started. Cohort of Sotek moving down there. That's going to be my first target. As soon as the Star Chamber Guardians are in range, we'll, of course, be going after them. The Chosen of the Dark Gods is going to be moving to the low ground, with Kolek Suneater leading the charge. We're going to be trying to put some hurt on him. We're going to be trying to put some hurt. Yeah, Chaos always has the blink. Chaos does indeed look very, very cool. Hell Cannon shots singing into the Star Chamber Guardians, immediately taking a little bit of HP damage, but not too much. And it looks like the Skink Oracle is going to be coming up to try and cheese my characters. He's eyeing the prize. I mean, 800 missile strength with anti-large and poison. Pretty good against Kolek. Kolek juking back and forth. I suppose, you know, in the pregame lobby, yeah, I do dodge that. So I'm juking back and forth with Kolek, but it was probably a mistake to pick the banner for Kolek's faction because I think it let my opponent know that I was picking Kolek. The Skink Oracle, of course, a very, very good answer against those boys. But Chosen are going to be moving down the avenue. What sort of magic does he have? It looks like it's an Earthblood and Harmonic Convergence. And the Hell Cannon continuing to generate good value here. Really putting some hurt on the Star Chamber Guardians. Over here, we have the Chaos Warriors with Halberds going to defend our back objective while the Chosen move up to fight in the middle. So Kolek and the Chosen going to have their hands full. Chaos Spawn also being summoned in. And the Marauders are looking to maybe go for Objective 3. We'll see how that fighting goes. More and more Hell Cannon shots, and ladies and gentlemen, the big fight is on. The Mountain God is moving in, and Nakai moves in. It is so alpha that it forces Kolek back, but in reality, what I'm trying to do is force him to overextend into my lines. So Kolek turns around, and guys, we have the Tempest Rage and the Star Crusher, 800 weapon strength, anti-large, huge beating going down to the Skink Oracle, and the Shadowcaster is also going to be coming in to help while we cast the Enfeebling Foe, I believe, on these guys. No, that's the Rev Crystal, but guys, look at how much damage the Mountain God is doing here. Huge beatdown on the Skink Oracle. They definitely overextended, and that Oracle is going to be in the danger zone. If we could break him early, that's going to be huge. That'll take away a lot of healing. And the Skink Oracle is going to be trying to escape here, but man, Kolek is an absolute world beater. With those buffs active, yeah, 878 weapon strength when he wasn't poisoned, my goodness. Pit of Shade's going down for my Shadowcaster. Pit of Shade's going to be hitting the Star Chamber Guardians here, doing a bunch of damage, allowing my Chosen to potentially win a fight that they would normally lose. And the middle objective is in our favor, as we do get some Marauder Horsemen circling up to maybe try and backcap here. Spawn moving in to assist the Marauders against the Cohort of Sotek, and a couple of Horsemen going to be trying to come and steal that objective. So going like really all-out aggressive. Now, I love the summon from my opponent here. The Razordawn Hunting Pack has emerged. This thing, of course, has great armor-piercing shots, and the Skink Oracle is back, and he still has full ammo, so from a distance, he should be fine. Now, the Lizardmen are going to be returning the favor. Looks like Nakai gets in there with Harmonic Convergence, and he's able to beat down my Chaos Sorcerer, and now we have the Duel of Fates as Kolek is battling Nakai, but Nakai is buffed and debuffed, Enfeebling Foe and Harmonic Convergence, but Kolek is going to lose this fight pretty decisively because it's being fought on top of the Star Chamber Guardian. So they're going to be giving all the buffs to your boy. They have Guardian, so Nakai has Ward Save and Guardian, and this is, you know, actually the last laugh here, excuse me, kind of goes to the Lizardman. As the Chaos Sorcerer, stroking his Forbidden Rod violently, tries to pull back, but Nakai is able to beat him down, but thankfully Nakai kind of launched him out of the fight there. But yeah, losing my Shadowcaster that early, pretty disastrous, and honestly could be one of the variables if I do end up struggling in this game. Hell Cannon shot still going. We're trying to snipe that Skink Oracle. I'm trying to return the favor. We get some Forsaken coming in, so Forsaken going to be screaming from the high ground to try and wrestle that objective back. As far as this side goes, Chameleon Skinks have been just sitting on this objective all day, just using their blow darts on my Chaos Warriors, and I know I can't catch them, so it's basically just suffering. And I had a pretty big misplay with the Horsemen. I think that 1,200 gold was very poorly used. I thought I would be able to wrestle this objective from the Lizardmen, but overall, some of the trades have been a little bit inefficient for sure. Kolek has retreated. No way of healing, of course, but Mountain God is going to be getting in here, still going after the Skink Oracle, who's cold-blooded. He has re-emerged into the fight, and Hell Cannon shot going after him as well. Come on, Kolek, we need you to do it, baby. Get that fight going. Chaos Warriors with dual weapons coming in. So, of course, these are the Cornate Warriors. So you can see we can bring a couple marked units from the different rosters. I think it's 4 in total. I'm not sure. That you're able to bring. I have some Slaanesh units and some other tools that I can jump in here indeed. So Kolek Sun Eater still dropping the hammer. Skink Oracle, Harmonic Convergence, still holding on. But Kolek has been a raid boss. He's been able to get 2,000 value. He does hammer Nakai into the Shadow Realm. And now it's time to finish off the Oracle and even the table out, right? Because he has a caster, I don't, so you need to change that. Kolek feels like he attacks really quick, too. And the Skink Oracle, one last hit. Kolek takes down the Oracle. The beast has fallen. And now it's time to get a little bit spicy, guys. We have the Hellstriders of Slaanesh coming in, so you can see we have access to some of these mortal units. We're going to be trying to get whatever we can in the middle, and we do re-get the capture weight. Unfortunately, though, the haggard little chameleon skinks in the back have stolen the objective, and I didn't bother chasing them with the warriors. I probably should have, just to get them off the objective, but yeah, he's able to wrestle the back objective from us, which I have to admit, guys, I did not notice that happening. I thought that the halberds were going to be able to hold against them, but the capture weight, of course, doing its thing. Kolek Sun Eater now moving up to the middle here, going to be moving back in to go after the Rev Crystal, so now Mountain God has got his hands full. Chosen still fighting. We got 47 Chosen here, able to fight back against the Star Chamber Guardians, who have 29 models. Kolek should be able to take down this beast, though. He does have the anti-large, like I said, so yeah, there goes the Bastillodon with the Rev Crystal, and the dual weapons of Khorne are moving in, and I think we'll be able to wrestle the middle. Granted, the Lizardmen have gotten the back objective, but this is where Warriors of Chaos are much stronger. Hellstriders of Slaanesh, having these like mobile units and these utility pieces from the different gods is so incredibly nice. So there they are. Little chameleon skinks getting wrecked pretty good. You can see 67 and 50. Those guys getting melted, and it looks like the back objective is going to be going to us again. So really it just comes down to trading in the middle once more. Over here, we do see the Razordawn Hunting Pack has come back. Hell Cannon still shooting in, dual weapon warriors doing good, and we were able to smash that Bastillodon. But, you know, Kolek has done a ton of work this game, and he's been great, but he's kind of running out of steam a little bit, right? He's got only 1,000 HP. He's accrued almost 3,000 value, so he's more than paid for himself. And the middle fight is tough, right? Nakai's buffs, he has the Vigor buff and as well as the Ward Save buff, so all of the Lizardmen infantry are really going to be fighting upwards here as Chad Nakai just continues to cause problems. And I love the Chameleon Skank pick here. They're just so annoying against Kolek, and I push back once again. Granted up on the high ground, we did see some of the annoying lizards coming in, so the Razordons, and they were immediately hunted down by the Hell Scourges. So seeing the utility of these Tzeentch units is just so good, man. It is so good. So middle objective probably going to be going to the lizards here, honestly. Nakai's fighting power, very good. The back objective has been resecured by us. Our Slaanesh Cav have been very disruptive, and we're maybe going to have to be doing some sort of a back cap here. Chosen moving over. They have 23 models left. I don't know if their shields actually help against the Razordon shooting. I feel like it doesn't, but nonetheless, the Chosen are going to be trying to get there. As far as what we're going to be summoning in, the Hell Cannon is almost out of ammo, and we do have some Chaos Warriors, just some basic ones with shields moving this direction to try and wrestle that. I'm having to kind of plan for the long term now because the lizards really are going to be getting the middle one. Nakai does get a Hell Cannon shot right to the face, which does some good damage, and the Chaos Warriors with dual weapons have fought okay, but the cohort of Sotek should be pretty good, and Nakai has been an absolute terror this game, despite a couple misplays on both sides, right? Like, as far as my big misplays go, I wasted about 1,500 gold on trying to pressure Objective 3 in the beginning, which I think if I just used it in the middle, like, it would have been a more decisive victory for us. And his misplays have been mainly with the Skink Oracle, like throwing that thing a little bit too close to Kolek when it has good shooting attacks. But again, you know, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone's human. So, Hell Cannon shots, once again, going after the little trolls in the middle. The cohort of Sotek getting blasted. I am behind on points at this moment, but the Hellstriders of Slaanesh have been incredibly useful. Their shields, of course, useful against chameleon skinks, and I don't think that Slaanesh is going to have too many issues dealing with skinks. They can certainly chase them down very effectively. Kolek, I believe, routed off the edge of the map. I think he had enough. He's going to go back to the mountain to slumber a little bit, as now we are looking postured to maybe get on this point. What we will be doing is using the Hellstriders to charge in and hit those Saurus. And if we can keep them from getting to the point, and our Chaos Warriors can waddle up to said point, we might be able to wrestle that from them. Now, the back objective firmly in our control here. We have a big push. The Hellstriders with their Scourges going to be jumping on top of the Razordons, who do have 90 armor, so they're a little bit tricky to kill, but if we can still sandwich them with our Cav, that's going to be feeling very nice. We do also have Chaos Warriors coming from reserve to try and hold this objective, so they're going to be moving on over to 1. It's very easy to forget about these guys. These guys were like kind of hiding in the shadows up here, and they do get a big charge, so should be able to lock them down. Now, we might also be able to get Objective 3. So we are in a position where if we capture 2 objectives and manage to hold them, we probably will be able to win. This one is going to be capped by us here, most likely. The Chaos Warriors and the Slaanesh mobility combining to be very powerful. Nakai not quite able to be everywhere, and the Hell Scourges over here just doing the work of the gods. Razordons get dragged into the Shadow Realm, and that's a pretty expensive loss. As far as the value in this game goes, it was pretty even. I think Lizardmen were up by about 700 or 800 value. Kolek, of course, a very expensive loss. And Nakai is going to be making his way over here. Will we be able to hold this objective? Chaos Warriors need to fight these skinks off. We're getting the capture weight, but the Saurus are just barely going to get there. And this is pretty crucial. Like, we really need this point. It's getting a little bit tight. Like, it's 3,000 to about 1,800 right now, so getting something is going to be of the utmost importance here. Forsaken moving. Chaos Warriors should be able to fight Saurus Spears all day, so not terribly concerned about that. We got a couple Marauder Horsemen moving in, and Marauder Horsemen have throwing axes against the Rev Crystal, and on top of that, they have good capture weight being Cav, so I'm hoping that they'll be able to just kind of wrestle this point from the Lizards, and we'll be enjoying our best life here. But yeah, getting this one is going to be super important here, and we're very close to it. You can see we're just barely out capping the Lizards. Chaos Warriors will defeat Saurus in combat. And we move up here with a nice pin. So the Hellstriders of Slaanesh move up. They keep Nakai and the cohort of Sotek off the objective. And now we got the throwing axes getting in there, buttering some bread. And you can see we are out capping these guys, as Forsaken will be moving in to jump on that objective. Any issues on 3? Does not look like it. We have a couple loose Chaos Warrior Halberds coming back. Razordon hunting packs, AFK in the shadows. If they had come back, they could potentially shoot me in the back here and maybe help those Saurus Spears. I don't think they could win it. So guys, we're very close to the triple cap here. We have 1. 2 is looking very good for us. Nakai is being held up in the high ground, but the problem is we didn't quite get 3. We were very close to getting it. I think if we had got 3, it would have maybe clinched the victory for us, but in this case, it's now going to be a very scrappy fight, which is exactly what you guys are here for. So middle objective does go to us. Warriors of Chaos able to grab that. Throwing axes, throwing in. Able to put some pepper on that Bastillodon with the Rev Crystal. Chaos Warriors here, doing a great job. Should be able to fight those Saurus all day. And objective 3, it belongs to the forces of the Lizardmen. Now, this is very tight. I don't quite know if he has enough to win on just 1 point. I got to do the big maths in my head, but I want to focus more on the commentary here. So Forsaken, holding the objective, is going to be blitzing up into the Skinks. We see the Star Chamber Guardians coming in once again, which is very scary. Oh, it looks like Forsaken had a little bit of a texture rework. Look how cool they have. They have like the glowing claws now. That's rad. The Star Chamber Guardians are basically designed to go Doomslayer against these, and you can immediately see the Forsaken getting their butts kicked super badly here. We do have some Marauder Horsemen, which of course can throw some of their fancy throwing axes at the Star Chamber Guardians, but overall it's been very tough, and going to be trying to wrestle the back objective. Like, I feel like the middle is starting to like get away from me a little bit, and there's nothing of like actual quality I can move down there to hold it. So I'm like, okay, let's go for the back objective, try and deny points for however long we can. It's about 2,850 to 4,100 right now, so it's getting very, very tight, and I'm pretty sure you can just win on one objective here, so I know we need to decap. Slaanesh Cav, hammering into the Chameleon Skinks. Over here, Chaos Warriors holding back these units, but they do have models on the point, which is the problem, so he's able to get the capture weight of those units. It's not based on it's based on the amount of models left in the unit, but even if you just have one model touching the objective parameters, it will give you the capture. That's essentially how that works. Hellscourges and company holding on. We're getting the capture weight, baby. The back one, though, in a little bit of danger, as he did finally notice that his Razordon hunting packs were here, and is now pounding into the back of these Chaos Warriors with big armor piercing, and that's very scary. We can summon some Chaos Warhounds or something like that, but Nakai has just been such an anchor piece this game. The fact that he's been alive and was able to kind of weather the storm and giving that perfect vigor to all these lizards, like the Star Chamber Guardians, when they get close to Nakai, you'll see their vigor should improve, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go ahead and double check here and see. I think it improves over time. Let me go ahead and look. So yeah, that gives perfect vigor. So maybe it just takes a hot second. Or maybe they weren't close enough to him. They have to be like really, really tight. Haggard, Chaos Marauders being sent in. We do back cap the objective number 3 here, so we're going to be leaving some Forsaken, moving our cab to the middle. We're still holding on to this objective. I mean, obviously the Lizardmen have pretty bad capture weight here, so all we have to do is just get objective number 2, and we might be okay. I mean, it's 36 to 44. We've really closed the gap pretty heavily. Chaos Warriors and Hellscourges and all the boys are moving on, trying to get onto the objective. Just Haggard Marauders are swarming, and if we are able to get this, we win the game, for sure. It'll probably take too long for the Lizards to get this back, but Nakai is just going to be so tough to break, man, so tough. Star Chamber Guardians also giving the Guardian the epic Lizardman last stand here in the middle, getting the Marauders on. You can see we do have a slight capture weight advantage. Forsaken holding back the Saurus Warriors here, pulling more Chaos Warriors over, and the Hellscourges of Slaanesh have actually lured Nakai as well as the Bastillodon off the objective, and I finally got my Shadowcaster back. My Shadowcaster did die very early, which I feel like if I had had my Shadowcaster for most of the game, it would have been a pretty decisive win for us. There was a lot of moments where like Pit of Shades and things like that could have been so nice, but I'm like banking on like 50 wins of Magic right now, so very, very tough indeed. 4,000 to 4,700, back objective is being taken by the Lizards, although very, very slowly. I mean, they have almost no capture weight here. It's going to take them like 2 hours to get that one. Objective 3, though, could potentially go into the hands of the Lizards. Very, very nice sneaky plays. The Chameleon Skinks do sneak by with the Vanguard deployment, and we'll be able to get the 3rd objective. And guys, it looks like the Lizards and Nakai will most likely be able to hold on. We get very, very close to getting this, and the capture weight's coming, 930, and we do actually end up getting the middle from them, but the sneaky Chameleon Skinks on the back objective were able to wrestle that one, and now I just don't have enough time. GG, well played. Super, super fun match, guys. Beast mode Nakai indeed. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, one sec here, guys. Just going to check my settings. Perfect. All right. Perfect. So Kolek got about 3,000 value. Nakai got about 3,000 as well. The Herald did good. And now it's time to put a vote to the next replay for you guys. So one sec. Let's do this. And we're all set. All right. Yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. We're getting some cool matchups. I'm super excited for the Immortal Empires. I think it's going to be fun. That was an amazing battle. It was really, really good. Let me go look at Rampage. So I can't show the menus, so that's why I have this blocker up, and I'm trying to pull some facts for you guys here. Looks good. And outstanding. So that was, what game was that? That was Kolek versus Nakai. Okay, so Rampage, need to find a unit that rampages. Just give me a second. So Saurus Rampage, right? Let's go look at them. Now they have Primal Instincts. So what is a unit that actually like properly rampages? Okay. When this unit gets hurt, it may rampage, attacking. Yeah, so it doesn't say, it's not telling me. It just has like a generic tooltip for it, which is unfortunate. All right, cool, man. So next up, we'll put it to a vote. Let's get you going. Perfect. The replay is being prepared by the Lord of Change. Don't mind him. Yeah, Chaos Warriors are great. They feel good. Honestly, you guys are going to like playing them. They're really fun. Only 5 weeks away. Dude, I know. It's like the longest 5 weeks. All right, so Slaanesh versus Rats. We got Slaanesh versus Rats. Dowie versus Nurgle. Then we have Croak versus Korn. And what else do we have? We have Tzeentch versus Norska. All right, guys, let me know what you want. Hey, don't worry, Pone. I will be casting that game at some point today. But this is for the next one. You guys vote on what you'd like to see. Any changes for ground lights? Bretonnia is pretty good on big maps, actually. In my experience, Bretonnia is like not amazing on small maps, but on big maps like the Black Ark, their cav can be really disruptive. Ryan, finally caught a live stream. Good stuff. Hey, thank you. I do appreciate that. 5 weeks to get Conquer. Oh, that's easy, Gunhound. That's easy. I played a couple games offline in Age of Empires and actually got back up to Platinum, and I think we're closing in on Diamond, so. Yeah, you guys vote. Whatever you want to see. Whatever you want to see. One sec. What do the gods will? What is the will of the people? What will you guys vote for? Let the hype flow through you. I'd love to see some Khorne versus Bretonnia. Oh man, yeah, that matchup's actually pretty Khorne favored, because what Khorne does is they just spam the really cost-effective halberds and fleshhounds. It's really hard to stop, actually. It's really hard to stop. Okay. We had pirate zombies today, William. Yeah, we already had one of those games. They got shown. There's so many to show. Okay, Dowie versus Nurgle is what you guys want. And by the will of the people, it shall be so. I love democracy. And guys, you're gonna love this game. There's Iron Drakes in this one. And again, I want to apologize for the lack of map diversity. A bunch of the maps in our current build are bugged. Like Itza doesn't work, Arnheim doesn't work, so we basically only have like 3 or 4 playable maps right now. So that's partially why you're seeing that. How much better do you play when you don't have to commentate? A lot better. Yeah, a lot better. I can commentate and play, and it might seem like I'm not playing bad, but I play much better if I'm just focused. Because my brain is trying to like think of what to say instead of focusing on like, I mean, I can do both for sure. Like I've been able to compete in, relatively high level tournaments while I commentate, but it's like, yeah, it's not ideal if I'm trying to win the thing. All right, guys. I love democracy. Yes, I do. All right, guys. So here we are. It is going to be the Dwarves. Thork Ironbrow, Dwarf Warriors, Great Weapons. And the reason why I brought Great Weapons is just in case they have Forsaken spam. So we got Dwarf Warriors, Rangers, or Quarrelers are actually, I think, better than Rangers here because they have 80 armor. So if Furies attack them, they won't die super quickly. So we have Quarrelers, Dwarf Warriors, Bugman's Rangers, Blasting Charges, all that sort of good stuff. I mean, things you would expect to be pretty good against Nurgle. And, of course, how could we do without a single Iron Drake? So these are the Flamethrower Iron Drakes. These bad boys are going to be trying to roast these zombies off the points. They're going to be sitting on the middle. And now looking at the forces of Nurgle, it is going to be Plague Bearers of Nurgle backed up by a Soul Grinder. So Soul Grinder is a decent... I feel like he's a trap. Like, honestly, I feel like I lose every single game I bring a Soul Grinder, but... in theory, he's pretty good against like dwarven shooting positions. Up in the sky, we do have a Herald of Nurgle, and it's going to be just Plague Bears and Plague Bears. So my opponent here playing it the right way. Essentially going to be going to the side objectives, and because if you're Nurgle and you move against the dwarves in the middle and try and fight them there, you are going to get absolutely destroyed. Like the dwarves are going to shoot you to pieces, but if you move over here and play the side, force the dwarves into like a weird concave like shooting position here where they don't have optimal line of sight. Like there's a lot of ways to play that for sure. A lot of ways. No, ammunition on the Soul Grinders is 15. So we get the first cast going down, so it does do a bit of damage against the miners with Blasting Charges. That was an overcasted Stream of Corruption, which honestly wasn't that bad. Doing a little bit of HP damage against like a pretty insignificant unit that only costs a couple hundred gold really wasn't too nasty for us. Now, Bugman's Rangers might have been the better target, but I think they were moving, so it was a little bit hard to account for. Hey, Once on Hammer, thank you for the 500 SEK, thank you! Hopefully you're enjoying the action. This is actually a really scrappy game. This one was pretty good. I think Dwarves actually are a little bit favored against Nurgle, but not by much. Like Nurgle for sure can win it by just playing the side points and being really annoying and things like that. Now, I do think this is one of the best maps for the Dwarves though. Like this is like they can kind of control the 2 objectives here. And it's not that far of a run for them to get back and forth. Other bigger maps, it's going to be a problem. Now, Furies are coming in. We all know how much the Dwarves love Furies. Stream of Corruption on the Bugman's Rangers. See, that was a beauty right there. And we do start shooting into the Furies, so we're trying to wear those guys down, as now we have to use the classic crossfire tactic. So we are going to be using the Bugman's Rangers to shoot the Furies off the other Rangers and Quarrelers. We also have the Master Engineer, who has the slowing ability, so he has Flash Bomb. So he can put slows on like flyers or anything that's trying to get to an objective. There's all sorts of goodies indeed. As a quick question, did Ironbreakers get any buffs? No, they don't really need them though. Like Ironbreakers are pretty good, you'll see. Blasting Charges accidentally wasted on the Cultist, which was a big mistake because now he can actually use the summon since he's below 80% or very close to it, I think. Bugman's Rangers holding on, Blight Boil going down, and I do see it coming, and thankfully I was able to dodge that, but it still did do some pretty good damage against my Quarrelers. Those type of spells in general are pretty good, but Nurgle is going to do Nurgle things and probably will be able to block me off this objective using Furies, and this is where the Dwarves can kind of struggle. It's much like how Cathay was against the Demon factions, but again, Dwarven resilience and durability with their infantry, of course, is pretty damn good. So Quarrelers from downtown, shooting into the Nurgle forces on the side. The Plague Bearer is getting peppered a little bit while the Miners of Blasting Charges fight. This objective, though, is going to be going to the forces of Nurgle, as they do have the Festering Stooges coming in as well, the Arawar Exalted Plague Bearers, and we're still trying to fight our way through. And, you know, I don't know if he's going to play the middle. I left the Iron Drakes over here, and I do make an attempt for the back objective, so I do have some Longbeards that made the great exodus over here. I was like, okay, maybe we pull a little bit of funny business here, and that will allow me to get that home field objective. The biggest thing for the Dwarves, though, is just making sure you secure 2 objectives before it becomes a triple cap situation. Because Dwarves, you're never going to be able to like really effectively triple cap, I don't think. It's possible if your opponent blunders pretty hard, but in my experience, it's not that doable. So Longbeard's fighting here. Blasting Charges, going to be throwing some old charges here to help. Longbeard should be able to defeat Plague Bearers. Granted, it's going to be a pretty timely fight. And on the side objective, we have the nice little shooting concave. So we have our Rangers moving up. Players have been able to peel the Furies. You can see that Nurgle is obviously pretty effective at diving your missile pieces using those very obnoxious demon characters, which we've seen against Cathay many, many a time. But Nurgle very solidly in control of this objective. We have some Dwarf Warriors and Thoric Ironbrow fighting here, but a lot of Dwarven Daka is going to be pouring into these bad boys. And on Objective 3, we did get some Blasting Charges onto the Plague Bearers here, and the other Ekron's Miners, who do have Vanguard deployment, are going to be moving up, and we're also pulling in some Bugman's Rangers. Now, I don't know if this was worth it. I think maybe because it forced Nurgle to send a lot of stuff over here instead of our back objective, but overall, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this from them. The Miners with Blasting Charges don't have great DPS and sustained combat. Plague Bearers will probably outgrind them with poison. Granted, Bugman's Rangers will put some hurt on those guys. We'll have to see. Now, the Flamethrowers haven't really had too much use for them yet. They're going to be gathering up here and shooting at the Soul Grinder in just a moment. A little bit of a marching order mistake. I was very, very focused on trying to win the side here. But the Festering Stooges are getting pounded pretty good. I mean, the Dwarven Missile Fire really, really doing huge damage against light armor. Granted, they still do have the physical resist, so it's not like they're helpless. Dragonback Slayers cutting through hordes and hordes of Nurglings. And you can see how Nurgle is really good at just keeping us off the objective by just throwing bodies and filth at us and all that sort of stuff. Very, very scary indeed. So Nurglings holding, middle objective in our control. The Soul Grinder being popped by the Master Engineer, and some of those infantry certainly did an okay job. Bugman's Rangers up on the high ground trying to shoot. And we are wearing down some of the Nurgle units. Longbeards with great weapons barely taking any damage. You know, Plague Bearers had pretty terrible armor piercing, but they've only lost 2 models in that entire sequence of fighting, which is very, very tough. And I know I need to get the side objective. That really is the epicenter of like everything. Slayers pumping those Dwarven legs, just running wherever they can to try and hunt down these Furies. It's been an absolute nightmare, but for the most part, the Slayers have done a good job. The problem is Furies are actually infantry sized, so they're not the size of like monsters and whatnot. Therefore, you know, it takes the Slayers a little while. I mean, the Slayers still have good melee attack, but they do love that bonus versus large that they get. And still, Nurgle's holding on to the objective. I guess, in a way, our back pressure has been good. Really, really nice Blight Boil going down there from this Flying Herald here. But the Slayers we sent over here were able to get a decent little surround. Bugman's Rangers should be back up and drinking that brew in no time. And now there's no way we're going to get this. But I think the one thing that did go very well for us is we forced a overcommitment, right? We see the Nurgle forces just sending way, way too much on the side objective against like barely anything. Like we really don't have that much value here. So that's good. And maybe like if those units had been able to keep coming over here, it could have been very tough for us. But big concave fire, Blasting Charges getting in there, roasting the foul Nurglings. Oh, that's so beautiful. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? This is the good stuff. That is the good stuff. And, you know, I finally realized that he wasn't going to be attacking the middle. I was sitting there for so long with the Iron Drakes hoping to roast some stuff, but now the Iron Drakes are going to be coming over to the side objective, and more Furies coming in. The most annoying thing in the world, those Furies are back, and they mean business. Now, we're falling behind pretty well on points. We're down by about 700. This objective is going to be going to the forces of the Plague God, as the Forsaken and the Nurglings are able to overwhelm us. The Bugman's Rangers, 69 models, holding proud, that's what she said. Going to be taken out by the Herald, and now these Slayers are going to be pulling back. I realize it's probably going to be more useful having them in the middle. So the first shot's coming in. Beautiful volley right there, just melting the Chaos Furies. Oh, bathed in hot Dowie fire as those Iron Drakes are now going to be moving in. And I actually think Iron Drakes will be very good against Nurgle because they have 125 armor, so if Furies attack them, they're going to last a long time, and they also just do a bunch of damage, right? Some more shots shooting up in the sky. Going to be trying to bathe these Chaos Furies in more flamethrower fire, so thankfully they're just going after my archers here. But that is allowing the Iron Drakes to really pepper into them and do some beautiful, beautiful damage. And finally, the Dowie hordes have cleared out the plague. It took a long time, but the Dwarves are very, very patient people. And they're going to be moving up onto the objective here and trying to stranglehold this bad boy. So here they go. Objective 3, come on. Get there, baby. Get there. They're trying their best. Iron Drakes able to roast off the Chaos Furies. Nurgle maybe going for a bit of a second win push here. We do have the Forsaken. As far as value goes, I actually wasn't that far ahead, believe it or not. I was up by maybe like 1,500, 2,000, but that's not good against Nurgle. So the trading was actually going to go okay for Nurgle in terms of pure damage. And that, again, really shows the strength of playing these side points. But Thoric Ironbrow and the boys going to be getting this one. We see the Iron Drakes roasting into the last of the Plague Bears. So these Plague Bears are just being absolutely cooked. And it looks like they reworked the flame animation for Iron Drakes and these type of bad boys. Yeah, it looks like they did. Yeah, nothing quite like just roasting these demons. And again, against light armor, Iron Drakes hit super, super hard, right? Great stuff. Now in the middle, we do get the Soul Grinder coming in. Soul Grinder is going to be coming over here, and Nurgle is going to be going for a big kind of fourth quarter push on this objective. I mean, they're up on points pretty hard. It's almost 3,000 to 1,800. It is now. But this is where the Master Engineer, I think, is going to be a super clutch. I think every single Dwarf build in Domination is going to need a Master Engineer because they have Flash Bomb. So we slow down the Soul Grinder. His speed is slowed by 60%, and now the Iron Drake's going to be bathing him in Hat Dowie fire. Now, he does have 90 armor, but it still does over, 1,500 damage right there. Beautiful stuff. Master Engineer shooting here. Iron Drake's going to continue blasting him, and he is slowed for a little bit longer, but now he's free, and he's at his maximum speed, but not before he gets brought to a very, very low amount of health. Big shots coming across the board, and now our value lead did go up pretty substantially. Pretty substantially indeed. So big shot. The Nurgle Boil, the Plague of Corruption, or the Stream of Corruption, one of the better spells in the entire game. Able to kind of melt my holding units. And now we need to kind of make sure to defend our objectives. And I think I kind of don't quite have enough on objective number 3. I have a lot in the middle. I just kept thinking he was going to go for the middle this game, but he never did. He just kept playing the side. So I should have seen that coming. Objective 1, pretty decisively in the hands of Nurgle here. But the Iron Drakes were able to actually take these out. And guys, I could be in danger. I mean, if he captures this objective from me, it's going to be incredibly tough to get it back, incredibly tough. And now look at this, guys. Look at this brutal stuff. The Nurgle army is actually capturing the objective again. Blight Boil going down to my Nurglings Ironbreakers. Thankfully, I was able to kind of force path them away from the Blight Boil, so it still will do a little bit of damage. Some of the Ironbreakers are caught on it, but for the most part, they do get past it. And guys, Nurgle might be able to jack this from us, but there's one hero in the old world, or I should say 28 of them. The Iron Drakes with the Flamethrowers are moving in. 900 value. You see this blob of filthy, filthy Nurgle units right here? I don't think there's too many better choices to deal with them than these Iron Drakes. That is going to be so nice. Dragonback Slayer still fighting here. Middle objective is ours. This is a blunder that could potentially cost me the game. I have way too much here. I think I should have just sent the Slayers and just left 2 units here. And I do realize this a little bit late, and now you can see Nurgle is very, very close to getting the objective here, guys. The swarming on the sides has been very disruptive. Shots are on. We're so close. We got some Bugman's Rangers moving in. Quarrelers are moving in. I'm force pathing past these guys. I know I need to get bodies on the objective. Thankfully, the Ironbreakers are holding true Chads. And here comes the fire. Oh, look at them all bunched up. Huge damage. Look at this. And the capture weight is going to switch in just a second. Yeah, as soon as you see them start to get roasted in terms of model count. Oh, and the rune goes down from Thoric as well. The Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin. And we just have to keep roasting. These Iron Drakes have to keep cooking these Nurglings. And they're getting cooked off the point. A fair amount of HP damage. They're a little bit spread out, but we're popping the popcorn. And we do manage to get the capture weight back. Fury's jumping onto those guys, realizing that they're a pretty substantial threat for sure. But we get the Bugman's Rangers on. We have the capture value. The Iron Drake should be safe. And if Nurgle's not going to be able to wrestle me off this point, then we for sure win the game. Because we are somewhat ahead on value. And Iron Drakes also do lower leadership with the burnt effect. So the Nurglings do get a leadership tank. And now we have the capture weight as the Nurglings Chads just fight on this point, battling the Nurglings, pushing through these units. And I gotta say, Thoric looking... Dude, Thoric has a Dwarven power mullet. Look at that thing. Yeah, so cool. I'm glad that, the best character the Dwarves have is also a really cool character. Because it kind of would suck if it was a lame character that you had to use every time. But, yeah, we're purging some of the foul Nurglings indeed. But at this point, it's going to be very tough for Nurgle to win. That was pretty much their last hoorah. They threw away most of the army there just to get the objective, and they didn't get it. The Iron Drakes continuing to just cook into these units, just bathing them in Dowie fire, which is glorious. And the Herald here are probably going to be surrounded. Furies, of course, are here, but Quarrelers don't really care that much. Like, I think a Quarreler unit might actually be able to fight a Fury to the death and win. It's hard to say, but that's what the Slayers are for. Nurgle's got a couple units back in reserve. We see some Forsaken and some Plague Bearers, but for the most part, it's a bit of a foregone conclusion here. We can watch the Flamethrowers just bathing into these guys a little bit longer. The Cultist does get chased off by the Dragonback Slayers and some blasting charges. And now Nurgle's going to be making one last push to the middle objective, which is certainly very cheeky, but I don't think it's going to be enough. That's why we left a lot of units there. And we have the Dwarf Warriors and Dwarf Warriors. Slayers are also able to make it back over, and that's going to be GG. Dude, so good. So good, man. I love it. It was just the Flamethrowers on the Nurglings on the popcorn, I think, is very, very cool indeed. So one sec here, guys. Gonna look at the next replays for you. Value so far, we got Bugman's Rangers got about 800, 900. Quarrelers all did pretty good. Iron Drake's got 1500 value. Lots of neat stuff. Lots of neat stuff indeed. All right, guys. GG, well played. Let's get into the menus and see what we can find next. And perfect. Perfect, perfect. Yes, good. Okay, responding to some messages. The Dowie have sung once more in the deep. I have another Dowie replay, but I think we've had enough dwarves today. I think we've had 3 dwarf games, so I think we need to kind of chill out a little bit on that. Okay, casted that one. Now let's do Be'lakor. You guys want Be'lakor versus Beastmen? I don't think we've had a Beastmen one. That would be pretty fun. So I'm going to be allowing Demons of Chaos to play in my tournaments. And guys, the Beastmen one actually uses a Jabber Scythe too. So you guys are in for a real treat. Is there a point to Blight Boil if stream does? No, I don't think so. I think Blight Boil is just, you don't bother with it. I think you just bother with the healing and the Stream of Corruption. Although, honestly, against like Dwarven Missile Boxes, maybe. It's pretty easy to dodge though. I mean, I still got caught a couple times, but... Deliverance of Pizza. How could you not do Thorgrim versus Kugath for the toilet seat supremacy? That's true. That's true. We'd have to arrange that one. Dude, the Beastmen need some love. They haven't gotten too much love so far in the early builds. I think the only Beastmen replay I posted so far was them losing. So we need to give them a good match here. Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a very, very fun one. Slow this bad boy up. Be'lakor is a little bit overpowered. He's worse in land battles, though. In Domination, Be'lakor isn't as bad because he doesn't have capture weight, but in land battles, Be'lakor is very, very OP. Like, he's overtuned. But, like, I don't think it's as much of an issue in Dom. Because he has no capture weight, he can't be everywhere at once, you know. Have you done Norska? No, we haven't had Norska yet. When is the next head-to-head campaign? I'll do some head-to-head campaigns with Professor Pone once the Immortal Empires comes out, yeah. I will indeed. I don't have too many Wood Elf replays, sadly. Most of the Wood Elf replays I had were extremely one-sided. So I ended up just not saving them. Or, you know, my opponent wasn't super interested in them being casted. All right. So, we have loaded into the match. Fimir are very good. Fimir do magic damage. They do a lot of work. Grail Relics, I think, are the same. Okay, that looks good to me. Let's have some fun. All right, so up in the sky, we have Malagor the Dark Pigeon. So I wanted to try something different. Red Bull gives this guy wings for sure. And what we're doing is just debuffs. So we have the Flock of Doom to just kind of nail blobs of demon infantry, which of course are pretty susceptible to it. And we do have the Enfeebling Foe. So Enfeebling Foe is just there to win isolated fights and just going to be spamming these 2 very cheap spells and flying around and just being an annoying pigeon. I figured that my opponent here would bring Be'lakor because you don't play Demons of Chaos and not bring Be'lakor, right? So in this case, I was like, okay, I don't want like a character that Be'lakor can duel because Be'lakor will take on Torox. He'll win for sure. He's got some crazy abilities. He's got the Enfeebling Foe, the Dark Master. He lowers melee attack. He's got a 40% ward save ability. He also heals in combat, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. He removes immune to psychology. And yeah, he heals in combat. So there's just like so much with Be'lakor that I didn't want to deal with. So I was like, okay, let's just run around with like a Haggard Beastman Lord and do our thing. And that's that. So we have the Gore Herds. So we got Gore Herds into the sunset, 2 of those bad boys. And in the back, we do have Ungor Raiders. So ideally, Gore Herds with shields will outtrade much of the demon infantry or trade evenly. Ungor Raiders, pretty good against light armor. We do also have a Jabber Scythe. So the Jabber Scythe was kind of an interesting idea. I was like, he's got a Mortis engine, but oh shit, isn't it? Like, yeah, leadership is below 50%. So demons don't really have great leadership. So we should be able to tank their leadership to the point where a Mortis engine comes in. Plus he does magic damage. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's not a terrible choice. Let's give him a try. So he is here. Centaur's on the far side, and one of the big MVPs against demons in my experience so far in the couple of Beastmen games I played has been the Sons of Goros. So Sons of Goros do magic damage and also have good combat stats, so they can really crump through the demon units pretty quickly. Centaurs, Goreherds, and Vanguard. With the Beastmen, it's all about ambushing and playing the side flanks. Just going super crazy. I mean, you can overload the middle and try and go fisticuffs with people. Beastmen are kind of dynamic like that, in that they can play a couple different styles, but really, I feel like just playing the side points and trying to be really sneaky is the way to play the Beastmen in Domination mode. Which is very cool. Is Nurgle the weakest faction? I feel like Nurgle and Dwarves are pretty weak right now, in general. Yeah, they're definitely not the strongest. They're not the strongest, but I mean, who knows how it'll be in the future. Now for the Demon Army, Be'lakor, double Rotfly. Rotflies are, I don't think, a great choice here, but they do provide you with some mobility and some poison, so if the Beastmen are kind of like circling around you, they can get over there and they have some fighting power on objectives. Even though they don't have capture weight, they can like maybe push off Beastmen mobility, because Beastmen don't really have a lot of armor. But even still, a cool choice. We got Bloodletters of Khorne to fight, of course, Blue Horrors of Tzeentch, Be'lakor, and in the back it's going to be some pinks coming in to probably take down my Jabberslythe and cause some problems. So let's see how this goes. Objective's going to be opening up soon. We can do a little bit of fast forwarding while the points do open. You'll notice that points open after 2 minutes now instead of 3, which I think is a lot better. So it gives you gets you to the action a little bit quicker indeed. So Centaur's waiting to capture that point. We got some Rotflies coming on over. And here on the side, we do have the Festering Stooges coming in. So the Festering Stooges are the Nurgle Plaguebearer ROR, which is going to be incredibly tough for me to remove. But that's what the Sons of Goros and the boys are for. We're going to do a little bit of a frontal charge. So here comes the Centaurs. And Centaurs do hurt in the charge. So let's go ahead and just watch this nice cinematic charge as the Centaurs get in there and spear those guys down. We also use the Enfeebling Foe to lower their melee defense a little bit. And that actually wasn't bad damage. Relatively happy about that. In the front, we do have a center engagement as well. So trying to attack the more expensive kind of Chaos Army on multiple fronts here. We have Bloodletters against the Gores. Gores will probably end up losing that. But the Jabberslythe is coming, baby! The big Jabberslythe is here, and he means business. Nice Pit of Shades coming in from Be'lakor there on the other side. And check this out. So we have the Sons of Goros battling against several demon units. We have the Seekers of Slaanesh and Chaos Furies. We do use the Flock of Doom there, but Sons of Goros are kicking some butt. I mean, look how quickly that magic damage is absolutely cutting through those two units. I was super impressed by their performance here. So we get the side objective, we get the back objective, and the Raiders are still generating good value, while the Jabberslythe is just hopping around. He's just being a big, happy, deformed Beastman monster, whatever this thing is. Quite good indeed. And he's occupying Be'lakor, which is cool. I mean, he's got a lot of damage, or a lot of armor. Not armor, excuse me, HP is what I meant to say. And, yeah, he's doing his thing. He's keeping the big boy busy. Like, Be'lakor could be over here causing problems, right? But no, he's not. And the Sons of Goros going Super Saiyan. They basically just took out, what, 1,500 gold worth of resources, and they're still, like, half health. I mean, I did use the Flock of Doom to support them a little bit, and you can see these Festering Stooges are trying to get on the objective. They might be able to, but nonetheless, the Centaurs and the Gores are holding that relatively well, and we do have the 2 capture points. In the meanwhile, the Haggard Jabberslythe is on the run. The First Prince is not messing about. Of course, he hits like a truck. The Dark Master is active, and the Jabberslythe trying to fly, but he's realizing his wings can't quite support his weight, so he's trying to get back now. Moving in, getting a Mortis Engine drain onto the Bloodletters, while the Haggard Ungor Raiders try and pepper Be'lakor, but he is just so meaty. I mean, Bellacor's got like 10,000 HP, which is nuts. Now on the side point, we do have the Rotflies sitting here. It looks like they wanted to maybe try and snipe something, but then I moved some Centaurs over there to be a little bit disruptive. Another Pit of Shades going to be going down. Beautiful Pit of Shades from my opponent here. That's going to be hitting my Haggard little Raiders and certainly popping them pretty good. Now, Razor Gores aren't really good against demons in general, guys, but let me explain my rationale for bringing these guys. They have good mass and they can trap things in place. So I figured that if I attacked Be'lakor with them or something like that, then he would be stuck in place and maybe I would be in a little bit more of a cozy position. So the Tzeentchian shooting going to be hammered once again. The Jabberslythe does move in. He's hopping and bouncing, and he's flying, and he just did like a WWE body slam right there on those guys. And also we get the Centaurs. So Centaurs are just so good against demons. They're shielded. They have great shock damage. I think Centaurs are just so good in this game mode. Also with their high speed, you know, they have really good capture weight, so they're going to be able to do some very good work. Sons of Goros, in the meantime, were able to collapse this position. I think they got a rear charge here, but then they finally broke. Festering Stooge is being an absolute pain, though. I can't quite get rid of him. And it looks like the Demons of Chaos might be able to get this objective back. We will have to see. Be'lakor over here, moving back in. And this is like, if this was a land battle, right, it's very different. Be'lakor would be a huge threat, because I'd have to deal with him at some point, okay? If this was a land battle. But if this, in Domination mode, like, he's just attacking some Ungor Raiders in the shadows, right? Like, that's the difference with, like, really expensive centerpieces like that, is yes, they're still good in Domination mode, but they're not, like, OP, because if I just win on objectives, I don't even have to deal with Be'lakor. I can just say goodnight, sweet prince, and you know, he'll be able to do his thing. Plus, I think Malagor's faster. He's got 121 speed against 90 on Be'lakor. Yeah, so we're just quite a bit faster. Now, back objective looks undefended, but we do have the Destroyers of Drakewald back here. Hey, King, thank you for the donation. Vote for Nurgle to be up. Don't worry, Nurgle's going to be fine. I'm sure once Nurgle gets some updates down the road, they're going to be pretty aces. Don't you worry. So another surround here. Centaur's getting into the back of the Rotflies. I feel like the Rotflies have been one of the weaker links here. We also did see an Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch try to pop out, but the Razorgore pigs are all over that thing. Hopefully they'll be able to cause some problems. A Beast of Nurgle being summoned in by the demons, and Be'lakor, of course, causing some disruption. But we do have a pretty firm triple cap for now, except this objective here. It's being taken by the Haggard Festering Stooges, and they have good capture weight. They haven't lost too many models. They still have 84 models, and my poor Gores here are just being taken to town by these Nurgle boys. Yeah, look at them. Moving in, causing problems. And yeah, if Nurgle were able to get some like armor on their roster, like if they, for example, got some like Mortal Warriors or something like that, Nurgle would just be like a terror. Like they would be a terror. They would be really, really strong. The fact that Nurgle is just so lightly armored and kind of predictable in that way, and slow also, is a bit of a problem. Razorgores moving in, trying to stuff the demon deployment zone. Be'lakor, the Dark Prince, obviously being a bit of a raid boss. We have him surrounded with Centaurs. Even the Jabberslythe's getting his hands dirty here. Going to be trying to you know, take down the first prince. And we do summon, I think, some big milk cows from the back line. I'm pretty sure that we do get some great weapon Minotaurs here in a second to try and deal with them. You can see, like, fighting Be'lakor is not good. Like, he is just so tough to kill. And the Festering Stooges are going to be broken off the objective, so the Centaurs did come up and around. Goreherds honestly don't trade terribly into them. And the Ungor Raiders up in the high ground with the Poison Hounds should be able to swarm in and potentially take these guys down. So there they have it. The Festering Stooges will indeed pay the troll toll, my friends. And Be'lakor's trapped. Centaurs in mass able to do it. What does his mass actually look like? So Be'lakor, dude, he's such a beast. Look at this thing. 4,000 mass is pretty good. The Jabberslythe, for reference, has actually 5,500, which makes sense. The Jabberslythe is a much heavier creature than Be'lakor. And I think the demons are going to be trying to play on the backfield, so they got some Nurglings going for the back cap, although Destroyers of Drakewald with their 47 melee defense should actually win that fight pretty decisively. And still no Minotaurs with great weapons. They're going to be coming soon, but again, we have a pretty firm, you know, triple cap here, I would say. We took down the Festering Stooges, so now it's basically just the Be'lakor show. The value trading wasn't that different, because a lot of it was tied up in Be'lakor here, but you can see there's not really much they can do. We've definitely killed most of the army, and the Minotaurs with great weapons come in, and now they're going to be getting some big anti-large attacks. The Shadow Shroud is active, though, man, and you can see how oppressive this would be in land battle. Like, if I actually had to fight this guy to the death, oh my god, like, imagine the hell on that. As a matter of fact, I have a crazy land battle going up sometime in the next 2 days, maybe even tomorrow, which is going to be the Empire versus Demons of Chaos with Be'lakor, and you'll see what I'm talking about in that replay. Jabberslythe getting roasted by the Exalted Flamer, but nonetheless, my friends, that is going to be GG well played. Certainly a fun match, a decisive victory, and let's see what's happening. Yes, good. Good. Sons of Goros, 1,200 value, Jabberslythe about 1,000. Like, we didn't get crazy value on, like, any one unit. It was more so just, like, the controlling of the battlefield and some inefficiencies in the demon build. Like, the demons needed to be using Fleshhounds of Khorne. So for anybody who's thinking, like, oh, man, Demons of Chaos are weak, they're not. Demons of Chaos are a very strong faction. You just need to use Fleshhounds. And we saw Rotflies instead. Rotflies are very suboptimal. Each of them only got about 300 value, so that's really what you're going to be... that's what's going to be happening. Yep. So let's get the next replay all set up, ladies and gentlemen. All right, where are we at? So we had the Be'lakor game. You guys want Wood Elves versus Tomb Kings. I actually have a pretty good replay of that with a game I played. Okay. Wood Elves versus Tomb Kings. How long have we been going for? Man, only 2 hours? Jeez, feels... I'm running out of replays. I actually thought it would take longer. Fidel, no, I didn't. I just woke up and set up the stream. Are Chosen and Warriors of Chaos bigger? The horses are bigger. I don't know if the actual warriors are. We already had 2 or 3 Skaven battles today. I think we had a couple, so we need to, you know, give some of the other factions a little love. Sorry, guys. Cursed allergies. All right. So next up, it's going to be Durthu versus Ark in the Black, and this is on the new map. This is on that like weird forest map. Croak will come. Trolls sound kind of worthless in Dom since they route off points. Not necessarily. They hit pretty hard. I think Trolls are still good. They have decent capture weight. It's not amazing. Do Beastmen get Marks of Chaos? I don't think they do. What Warcraft 3 hero do you think would fit best in Warhammer? I mean, most of them would, honestly. Like a Paladin, an Archmage, like a Mountain King is basically just a Dowie Lord. I mean, like, if you really look at it, they would. the Orc heroes, the Farseer would probably fit. He would have like the lore of the Great Wa. Blade Master not so much. That the cultural inflections on the Blade Master don't really fit, I don't think. Benjamin, I don't see a message from you, but thank you for the tenor. Yeah, thank you so much. So Benjamin, when you donated there, it kind of tripped me out for a second because your picture there looks exactly like my old boss at the job I worked for, YouTube. So I was like, wait a second, the name's different, but the picture looks very similar. All right. So are we in? We are. Great. Let's get this party started. Yeah, Pit Lord makes sense. He would just be like a chaos thing. So as far as the build goes, this map is actually an interesting one for the Wood Elves. Because your shooting isn't like super good here because of the trees, although Wood Elves can shoot, and work in the trees better than other factions, but even still, it's a little bit tricky. So Benjamin says, Turin, you're my favorite content creator, loving the Immortal Empires content, great work. Hey, thank you so much, Benjamin. Really appreciate the kind words, my friend. But we got War Dancers, we got Treekin, and we got Durthu. So I'm like, let's just get in there, dude, and go fisticuffs. Let's just get a big grindy army and fight and see how it goes. And we have a little bit of fun on the flanks as well. So we got Blade Singers. I'm going for like elite Wood Elf infantry. So the Blade Singers are here on the sides, and also we got Wild Riders with them. And I think that's on both sides or just one side, yeah. So we're going to go for the middle and go for 3. So 2 and 3, essentially. Now, looking at the Tomb King's army, this is very much kind of Tomb King's meta. Tomb Guard are just such a cost-effective unit. With many of the nerfs to things like Burning Head and Pendulums, it's kind of like removing a predator from a natural habitat, and then like one species just grows out of control. We basically see that here with the Tomb Guard. So it's just Tomb Guard into the sunset. Also, we saw some big buffs to Nehekar Warriors. They got a bonus first infantry, which they didn't have before. So these Nehekar Warriors are actually going to be a big menace to us, guys. A big menace. So we'll see how this goes. So that's it. Some spears. And obviously, they'll be summoning in mobility and other tools, but mainly just some mobile stuff. And that is that. So War Dancer is going to be moving up. We'll do a little bit of fast forwarding as we get in position. So here comes the crew. What the Tomb Kings are going to be doing is splitting up their army on 2 fronts. So just sending massive hordes of skeletons to either side. So we see a big blob here. A big blob is going to be going to Objective 1, which obviously I'm not going to have the best time kind of contesting. But I think we should be able to get our paws on the middle objective, and hopefully the Blade Singers and company will be able to fight pretty well on Objective 3. Blade Singers should outtrade Tomb Guard units. They should do pretty good there. Arc in the Black in the meantime drops the skeleton summon there. A cute little cheeky play, but War Dancers will kill those skeletons pretty quickly. And Big Papa Durthu is going to be moving into the trees as well with the Treekin. Treekin were actually very good when we first got access to the patch because Monstrous Infantry had better capture weight. But Treekin have since, or Monstrous Infantry capture weight has since been nerfed. So I think in the end it was maybe a little bit of a mistake to go with Treekin. But they do fight well in the trees and of course are a good roadblock unit with good staying power. So there still is some kind of options there. Now, my first play is going to be summoning out Blade Singers. I figured that Blade Singers could kind of grind through a huge amount of the skeleton infantry. So let's give them a try. Granted, you're paying for a fair amount of armor piercing there. Turin, you must have been a great add to a LAN party back in the day. You know what? We had a lot of LAN parties at my house. We played Halo Combat Evolved, Warcraft 3, a lot of stuff like that. StarCraft, we did Brood War. It was a lot of fun for sure. But I was a wee lad back then. Wild Rider's going to be moving up, so too are the Blade Singers. The objectives are now open, so we need to get on those points. The middle one is going to be going to us for sure. We have the Treekin and the War Dancers here. Durthu and the Treekin with a pretty solid hold, and now they're going to be moving out. But the Tomb Kings do have the advantage of having these like 2 big armies that can really just blob on points and take like forever to bring down. Lone Space Drone, just wanted to show some support. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you so much, I will. Thank you. That's a generous one there. Thank you for the fiber. So the Blade Singers waiting in the shadows, Durthu and company waiting in the trees. And so far, I'm okay in positioning. I believe we saw a Fate of Buna going down to the Blade Singers, which was good. Or War Dancers, not Blade Singers. Are those Blade? No, those are War Dancers. Okay. Ravenous Moose, hey man, thanks for all the work you do for the community. Love the content. Hope you enjoy the Dude, I'm loving IE. It's so much fun. Romulan, I have a Doom Whale replay coming up on the channel soon. Got some great Limp Bizkit stuff coming, don't you worry, with some Doom players as well. So now the Tomb Kings are going to be pulling the trigger. I don't quite have enough to force them off this point. They do also have some skeleton archers hiding in the trees here. And I do have the middle, but this is kind of the problem with like my build. It's a little bit static, but we are going to be making the first play over here. So we do have the Kepler Guard. Kepler Guard are going to be getting hit by War Dancers and also surrounded by Blade Singers. So trying to get a little bit of a 1-2 punch on them. But Kepler Guard are one of the best units in the game, in my opinion. So we're fighting here. Blade Singers do get popped by those skeleton archers. I'm not enjoying that at all. In retrospect, I probably should have just dove and tried to take out the Kepler Guard, but the Skeleton Archer shooting in the tree line is very, very nasty. So we are going to be pulling back our units. I felt like he had a lot here. I'm still holding on to the middle, and Durthu's kind of like struggling to find a place to go. And that's one of the issues with this map, right? It's a open map, you know, somewhat. I mean, there's a lot of trees and terrain, but it's hard to commit a big, slow character. And we saw that with Bellicor, whereas Ark in the Black is able to kind of be more places at once. So we're retreating here a little bit, trying to force these guys back. I figure let's value trade. So in order to block the chariots, we send in the big boys so the tree can block the chariot charge. And now the Blade Singers are going to be turning around to fight against the Kepler Guard, and the War Dancers will also. Other Treekin here holding pretty well, putting some hurt on these Tomb Guard right here for sure. But, you know, still pretty cost effective, I suppose, occupying 2 units. And now the trap has been sprung on the other side as well. The Blade Singers were able to outmaneuver the Tomb Guard here, so they're going to be pushing through. And these ladies of the forest will, yeah, they'll make pretty quick work of the Skeleton Spears. They should be able to, at least. We'll see. They pile in. Damage is starting to accrue. Spears and Archers both taking casualties. And now we got Dryads coming out. Dryads actually seem pretty weak in this patch. I don't know what it is about them, but overall they don't seem like the strongest unit. But our game plan here is to kind of wrestle control of this objective while also fighting on the other side as well. So I'm a little bit sporadic all over the battlefield, which kind of makes me think I should have maybe consolidated my forces here a little bit. Durthu is going to be emerging from the trees to drop some Flocks of Doom. Treekin and War Dancers just camping on this middle objective, which of course the Tomb Kings will inevitably go for. Skeleton Archer is proving to be one of the biggest MVPs, and Kepler Guard getting support from Ark in the Black has been very, very tough. It's been very, very tough indeed. Beautiful chariot charge, Skeleton Chariots running down my ladies here. Certainly not enjoying this. That is quite a beauty right there, and yeah, they are going to be getting run over. GG to those ladies. That is a very, very cost-inefficient trade for me. But Durthu is here, and he's pissed. He just got a huge Flock of Doom. And this fight here is going okay for us. We do get the Glade Riders with Spears to flank around the back, and they were able to come and hammer those Skeletons. Dryads, you know, Blade Singers, pretty good quality units. Dryads versus Skeleton Spears. The Dryads should win this. Tomb Kings also got another buff in that their Realm of Souls can proc many, many times. Huge overcasted Flock of Doom going down, though, and Sword of Daith. That's going to be some huge damage. And we also overcast Wyson's Wild Form, which is going to be giving us armor to all our units. And this is a big value trade for us. We were actually pretty behind in value this game, but at this point, once we started to punish this blob of units, I started to come back in value a little bit, which certainly felt good. But the Tomb Kings are outplaying us on the objectives for sure. Here, a couple very expensive units kind of got caught a little bit. I brought out some Glade Riders with Spears. They're able to intercept these Skeleton Chariots. And I'm trying to get these ladies safely to the middle. The point is actually being out-capped right now, too. And in the pre-patch, originally the Treekin would have been able to hold this, but with the changes, I was kind of still... This was one of the first replays I played when I got access, so having to kind of assess things. Oh, the cackle from Fate of Buna on the Blade Singers, I love it! Dude, I feel like I have to bring that spell now for the cackle. I feel like it has to happen. Rib Roast, I did see that, yes. I since looked when somebody in chat told me about it. Treekin waddling onto this point. As far as the objectives go, though, we're certainly really struggling. I mean, we're getting control of them, but like the mass amount of like unbreakable Tomb Kings bodies is very tough. And I feel like I needed more killing power. Like the War Dancers have been trading okay for sure. Like I feel like War Dancers and Mass Cav would have been the way to go about this. Because as of now, the Treekin have basically been dead weight. Like every single Treekin I've had has generated very little value and also has brought not much to the capturing situation, right? So Flock of Doom going down once again as Big Papa Zerthu is going to be getting his talons and just slapping through these guys. And Flock of Doom's, of course, doing great work. And finally, we do break this position. So I kind of feel like it's a bit of a whack-a-mole situation, really. Like Zerthu moves, he whacks them, he takes out the mole, and then suddenly there's a whole nother, horde of them digging holes in my grass and causing problems here. And he really just can't be everywhere at once. Now, I still think Zerthu's a good pick. I don't think he's the reason it's been a problem. I just think the Treekin have been a little bit suboptimal here because they're going to move in. In Monstrous Infantry, of course, can be good because they have mass and killing power often, like Croxagores and Ogres and all sorts of stuff like that. But Treekin have really bad DPS. So I can't seem to kill the infantry quick enough to get the capture weight, right? So here they come. Treekin on the move. Going to be fighting the Nehekar Warriors, which have recently been buffed. Treekin still holding in the middle, and that's pretty much all they're doing. And Zerthu and company is here, and he's going to be waddling back towards the middle objective. You can see we got Blade Singers coming. Dryads able to clean out the last of those spears. We did get that objective, but we're pretty far behind in points, honestly. Tomb King's just using a very simplistic infantry army with chariots, and the Treekin just breaking. Here we get some Glade Riders with spears, which collapse on the Nehekar Horsemen with a little bit of Treekin support. So they're fighting pretty effectively, and many of the fights are going okay. The value thing wasn't that big of a difference, and now that we got the big tree man back in the middle, Zerthu's in his natural habitat, which is the forest. Look at him. Oh yeah, there you go, buddy. Oh no, what's going on? Giant pillar in the middle, screwing things up. Zerthu's gonna try his best though, man. He's gonna do it, move it in. Tomb Kings are on the run, but even if I do win the middle, Tomb Kings will probably be able to Helm's Deep on the third point here. Missiles are also very tricky on this map, but, you know, Wood Elf missiles have never been amazing against Tomb Kings because they have silver shields on all their infantry, right? Akara, Warriors, or excuse me, the King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, Tomb Guard, all silver shields. So things like Swift Shiver Shards and all those bad boys probably wouldn't be super effective. I think using, yeah, Sisters of Twilight could be pretty good actually too, because they could set over Ark in the Black's Head and really cause a lot of problems, but at the end of the day, that's more or less going to be it, guys. Like, I'm grinding on these objectives. We're slowly getting them back. If this game, you know, had no timer, I think over the course of a long battle, Durthu would probably outgrind this army, but that's not the game mode. That's not how it's played. And here, we almost get the middle back, but again, the points are still going. We've been too far behind. Tomb Kings have been holding on by just throwing away skeletons at the objectives. That very much is a style for the Tomb Kings. They're going to be very, very good at that. But he was using chariots and cav and a lot of other play as well. It wasn't just infantry. Yeah, Durthu wants a point where the two objectives are very close together. Yeah, so like an Itza, like an Arnheim. That map wasn't really a good pick for Big Boy Durthu, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, still he got decent value. Bladesingers did okay. The Bladesingers actually got, what, over 1,000 value? That's not bad. These ones kind of got shut down, though. I ultimately feel like mainly just like War Dancers, Dryads, and Cav would be the way to do this with a more mobile Lord choice. Because he was just too slow. Arkin was all over the place generating, you know, positional value, and Big Daddy Durthu was struggling for sure. Plus, that was an all melee build. Orion could have been okay too, but Orion isn't good at crowd clearing. Durthu is. So if you're expecting mass infantry, Durthu's good. I just don't think the map was great for him. All right. So, let's get this going. Let's see what's cracking. Nehekar Warriors got a bonus for his infantry. They didn't have that before. Yeah. They are pretty happy. All right, so let's delete this. So we got a couple more replays here. Yeah, that one is no. All right, so we have one really funny replay, which I know you guys are going to love. This is a Khorne versus Lizardman replay. This might be the last one for today, since I don't have too many left, and I actually need some to cast on the channel in the next few days. So this is going to be Nakai versus an Exalted Bloodthirster. You guys are going to love this one, I promise you. It has Lord Croak in it. There's so much to love here. There's so much to love. So let me just get this set up. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah, it's true. Orion does have that like blob punishing ability. Yeah, he can do that. Kind of an interesting thought. Croak is coming for blood though. He's pissed. He's going to deliver some pizza to these Khornate warriors. All right, let's fire it up, baby. Croak is coming. Croak is here. No mercy. No more games. Only vengeance. Pizza will be delivered. Yes. God, I just wish we could host a tournament. We can't do any live gameplay though, so we can't host tournaments. I wanted to get one together with a bunch of people who do YouTube and Twitch and stuff. That would have been so cool, man. It's pizza time. It is. So we're going to be on the Galleon's Cove. Pizza is coming. Croak is going to be the delivery man. Which is actually pretty good. I think Croak is... See, this is another thing. In Domination mode, Croak is actually not a meme. Like, he can be good in some matchups. Like, against Nurgle, Croak is like an unholy terror. Against Vampire Counts also, if they're blobbing on objectives. Yeah, have fun with that. You know? So, I think we're on the right screen. We are. Good. No blocker. We have a couple interesting choices. We have the Ancient Salamander. So the idea is that he just kind of puts some, you know, shots into the blob Khorne infantry. We have the Double Temple Guard. We have the Rev Crystal, Lord Croak, and Nakai. So Nakai, of course, has his new and improved items, and he's good to go. He's going to be dropping all the goodies. And for the Forces of Khorne, they've gone with the Double Bloodthirster build, which is very, very, what I would like to call kind of a skew build. All right, Misha, I got you. And on a rat game? Okay. Just for you, Misha, we'll do that. But up in the sky, it's going to be Double Bloodthirster. Now, I think the individual I was playing here, we had played this matchup before. And in the previous match, I brought a Dread Saurian. And the Dread Saurian was actually really strong. So I think he came in this game bringing Double Bloodthirster, like thinking I would have a Dread Saurian, but I did not. I mean, I still have plenty of big monsters. The Bloodthirsters could potentially kill Croak. They could kill Nakai. They have a Bastillodon, Ancient Salamander. It's not like they're like bad here or useless, right? They certainly have their teeth. But we're going to be moving on to the middle objective. Chameleon Skinks are the eternal scourge of these units. They certainly do quite a bit of work. So the Chameleon Skinks sitting up on the side, going to be eyeing the prize, looking at the Bloodthirsters up in the sky. Also the rest of the Khorne infantry preparing to move forward. We have the Hellforged Host, Chaos Warriors of Khorne, Chaos Warriors. I like that he brought Shielded Warriors. I think that's the right choice. Or Halberds. Halberds or Shielded Warriors would probably be the direction. I don't think the dual weapons are going to be very good against the dinos. Ancient Salamander shooting into the Hellforged Toast. Does a little bit of damage. Only kills one model, but we'll see if we can get some sustained firepower. As now we get Furies coming out, but Chameleon Skinks, the eternal scourge of these type of units, are going to be shooting. And Croak, for sure, is going to be trying to deliver some pizza. Now, on the back objective, we do see some Bloodletters of Khorne who are going to be taking that. And I'm really just trying to value trade in the beginning and get these picks here. The Exalted Bloodthirster having some problems. He can't really find a spot to land with all the annoying Chameleon Skinks. And yeah, I like how the most annoying unit in the game is still the most annoying unit, even in domination mode. It's just like, look at this. These two expensive demons are just being like thwarted by these like haggard chameleons that are just shooting up into the sky and just causing so many problems. Temple Guard getting ready to fight against the Chaos Warriors. Croak is on the ready, and Bastillodons are here also. We do get the Ancient Salamander shoot again. I believe it was shooting into the Chaos Warriors. I'm not quite sure. He hasn't shot in a while. But the big demons are forced back. Nakai is also sitting out here. Nakai with a Rev Crystal and a Salamander might be able to fight those demons as well with a little bit of support fire. So Furies have moved in. You have the first frontline fight. Lord Croak getting a little bit down and dirty. He's using some magical toad witchcraft and dropping some shots. We do see the Supreme Shield of the Old Ones for 40% ward save. So suddenly this toad is going to be incredibly tough to kill. You can see the Shield of the Old Ones got a little bit of a change, which is kind of cool. Chaos Furies of Khorne being dragged apart by the Chameleon Skinks, which basically just shoot it to pieces. Rev Crystal going to be dropping some heals on your boy Croak, so he's getting healed. And you can see Nakai is also getting in there, so Nakai is going to be fighting just this ancient demon of Khorne, which I think is so cool. Like, seeing Lizardmen fight demons is a pretty epic thing. But the Khorne infantry in the front do get bullied by the Temple Guard. Temple Guard, of course, have great armor piercing. And the Primal Roar is active too, giving them 40 melee attack and 20% physical resist, which is actually pertinent against the Chaos Warriors. Actually quite good. So overall, the two greater demons are having some problems. Croak is just preparing to deliver some pizza. You know, he was in a little bit of a precarious situation, but now he's going to be trying to deliver some pizza in a minute. Don't you guys worry. So big surround here. Temple Guard still laying some beatings. Nakai is on the hunt, and the Chameleon Skinks are just making life absolutely hell for these Bloodthirsters. And they're going after Croak. I mean, Croak is certainly a threat. And pizza is about to be delivered right here. You guys ready for it? Oh, but I think they dodge it. Yeah, it's tough. Hey, don't worry, guys. We're very early in the game. I guarantee you in this replay, pizza will be delivered. It is going to be coming in. So, up here, we get Nakai. He's battling into the Bloodthirster, and you can see the Bloodthirster is unstable and just being darted into the Shadow Realm by the Chameleon Skink. So they're just sitting back there, getting some beautiful shots. Nakai causing problems as the other Exalted Bloodthirster tries its best. And pizza is about to be delivered on the Hellforged Toast. Yes. Oh, give it to me, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's the good stuff. Boom, a headshot. The demons are shaken, takes a ton of damage. Probably going to lead to them crumbling, and now Croak is going to be coming in, and he is going to be preparing round 2. Now, up on the high ground, we had a little bit of a skirmish. We did have some Fleshhounds of Khorne, but I had Chameleon Stalkers as well as Coldland Spear Riders. So, very, very nice stalking unit. Chameleon Stalkers are amazing because they can sneak up on objectives, take down lightly armored units, and they can certainly do some good work for sure. One Bloodthirster has fallen. Nakai is just watching the other one and roaring on the ground. He's like, come at me, bro. The other Bloodthirster is getting peppered and really just cannot find a good home. The poison really mitigating his damage output too. You can see he's at 493 right now, which certainly is not feeling good. And Croak is going to be delivering more pizza here. So it's time. It is time for round 2. Time for the pepperoni and sausage. Big shots. Chaos Warriors, 98 models. Boom. Absolute destruction. Absolute destruction. Chaos Warriors taking a ton of HP. Shield of the Cold Ones coming down. Shield of the Cold Ones. Shield of the Old Ones. The Supreme Shield, mind you. And that's going to be giving 40% ward save to all these units as we fight on the middle objective. We do get the Rev Crystal coming in. Ancient Salamander is going to be positioning on the side. And now we should be able to wrestle the middle for sure. Up on the high ground, we have the Chameleon Stalkers just kind of camping out there. Coldland Spear Riders looking to get around the flank. And without the leadership, Khorne is for sure going to get bullied pretty hard by the monsters. The Ancient Salamander just kind of shooting wherever it can. Of course, oh, that's cool. It actually says capturing in the tooltip there. Let's see what this guy's going to blast. He's eyeing something. Can't quite tell. Star Chamber Guardian's fighting with only 15 models. But Temple Guard are just so good in this matchup. Temple Guard, much like Celestial Dragon Guard, are just an amazing unit. The Halberd, kind of like Great Weapon Hybrid, very useful in a lot of these matchups. And here you can also see the Coldland Spear Riders being attacked by the Bloodthirster. A little bit of Halberd support coming out, but I think it's going to be a little too late. The low ground objective is now going to be attacked. So we do have the Chameleon Stalkers as well as the Skink Cohort Javelins moving in. So the Ark of Sotek are going to be trying to launch some snakes. And yeah, the Ark of Sotek, not a bad unit. Obviously, if somebody's like holding on an objective with a couple infantry units, this bad boy is going to be able to do some good work for you while snakes are being launched. So the snakes are here. Sotek's poison is active. HP going to be dwindling off these bloodletters pretty quickly as the Ark of Sotek does some great work. And over in the middle, we see a couple Khorne spawn trying to hold. But for the most part, Khorne has been stuffed back pretty hard. Lord Croak has delivered a lot of pizza, been able to take out a lot of infantry units. And Khorne is going to have to kind of switch up their playstyle to go for some of these side objectives. Because in terms of value at this point, I think I was up by maybe 2,000 value. Like, taking down the big boys is pretty rough, and Chameleon Skinks are just such a good counter against these, like, big monsters. Now, Khorne coming in, Chaos Warhounds and Fleshhounds should be able to overwhelm me on this objective, so that's going to be giving Khorne a double cap, and even though I'm up on value, like, Khorne still has some opportunities to play the side objectives, and if they're able to get a double cap on these side objectives, that could be very, very scary for us for sure. Oh, almost missed the Deliverance of Pizza! Oh, yeah. Come on, give it to me, baby. 92 models. Oh, that's going to hurt so bad! Big shot. Boom! Down to like 20%. And immediately, the Lizardmen are able to just overwhelm that position. Like, wherever Lord Croak sends the pizza, you just follow up with, like, Nakai just rumbling in there with his weapon. And you're just able to bunker bust that position so incredibly hard. So, Chaos Warriors with the Halberds. Got to be on the run. Salamander's kind of putting a little bit of chase on them here. We got some Croxagors coming out, but these are no mere Croxagors. And I actually think these guys are better than regular Croxagors. And they're the Sacred Boys. So the Sacred Croxagors are amazing because they have magic damage. So when they're getting in against demons with armor piercing, they're going to be good against the warriors. And against the demons, they have magic damage. So they're just, I think, better than the regular Croxagors, at least in this matchup. And look how badly they beat down those Bloodletters. Absolute massacre right there. Now we're going to be moving on to Objective 3. One was taken by Khorne. So the Fleshhounds, dual weapon warriors, a lot of nasty stuff up on the high ground was causing some problems for sure. And in the middle, Croak is going to be hanging out with the boys. Ancient Salamander still shooting downtown, just trying to make sure these guys actually rout off. Though some Chaos Warriors with Halberds did end up coming back. The Ancient Salamander has gotten about 1,200 value. Really hasn't been too bad this game. I mean, it paid for itself. Ancient Salamanders cost about this much and aren't bad at fighting either. You know, they can get in there and healthy fight against like a greater demon if they have a little bit of support. Dom, thank you for the $5. Croak reminding Khorne that he killed hundreds of thousands of demons. That's right. And he's adding to the toll. So now Nakai and the Chameleon Stalker is going to be moving up to the high ground with the Temple Guard and the Bastillodon Rev Crystal. Should be able to do some good work here. Primal Roar and Rev Crystal is active on Nakai to mitigate some of the damage he's taking. And now we have a pretty solid 2-cap. I think we're about to get this one in the low ground, which is going to be very, very nice. Because we were getting kind of danger close to the point where it would have to be a triple cap. But once again, we're seeing the Sacred Croxagors just being absolute linebackers. And yeah, they have a ton of armor too. They have 100 armor. So, you know, Spawn of Khorne, a lot of their damage is going to be heavily mitigated by the armor of these bad boys. And if they do bring infantry, we have the Ark of Sotek to launch snakes and really disrupt that formation. So at this point, I can win on a double cap. Khorne is going to have to get a little bit more value for sure. We see the Furies coming down up in the hills, Fleshhounds of Khorne. Trying to fight, but once the big boys got there, once the Temple Guard got there, I think it was a little bit too much for them. And Khorne is kind of tabled a little bit at this point. Of course, just like in tabletop, you call it being tabled when your whole army gets killed. They have some Halberds, they have some warriors down here, a couple loose spawn, but that's more or less going to be it at this point. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be cleaning up the forces of chaos. Lizardmen, I think in the hands of good players, like Lizardmen are probably going to be the second or third strongest faction. Like, they feel very, very strong in domination mode. Like, they're great in land battles. They have great leadership, great staying power, good magic, good utility. They feel very good. I think vampire counts, in summary, are probably number 1. I think number 2, though, hands down, probably lizards would be pretty good. Like, they don't seem to have too many bad matchups, honestly. I'm trying to think who I would not want to play lizards into. You know who might be pretty good against lizardmen would maybe be Kislev. I think Kislev has good leadership on their infantry, good shooting to blast the monsters. Snow Leopards would be pretty good against a lot of Bastillodons and things like that. They have, armor piercing and anti-large, so I think there's a lot of, really cool tools for sure. All right. Box boys indeed. So let's take a look here. Nakai got about 1,700 value. Croak got almost 2,000. Temple Guard both did really, really well. Ancient Salamander performed, I don't even know if I would call this build, optimal, but it felt pretty good. It felt fun. Obviously, that wasn't the best showing, but I do think that the Bloodthirsters are the reason why they lost that game. There was literally about 5,000 value here, 4,000 value. That was kind of useless. The Chameleon Skinks just countered them so hard. They still managed to get almost 1,000 value apiece, but I think that was too hard to come back from. I think if Khorne had a bigger infantry army with cheaper lords, I could have been in a little bit danger, but we had that situation before where I brought the Shredder, not the Shredder of Lustria, but the Dread Saurian, and they didn't have any anti-large for it, and the Dread Saurian kind of just bullied everything. So I understand the Bloodthirster pick. Maybe just 1 would be safer though than 2. That's pretty big investment for sure. Great game indeed. Great game indeed. All right, guys. Let's see what replays I got left. I'm having really bad allergies today, so we might call it a little bit earlier. But we'll see. Honestly, not that many. Yeah, I have this one. We already got a Skaven replay. I think that's going to be it for today, guys. I really, I only have like 2 replays left, and I need to cast some for the next few days. Also, I feel like shit. I have such bad allergies today, so my apologies. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I think we casted, 8-10 games today, so you got to see some different matchups. And now what we're going to be doing is the Q&A part. So if you guys have any questions, now's the time. I can check the rosters. Of course, I can't show the screen. But you just let me know what you want to see. All right, so Q&A. All right, so we'll just put this here. You guys ready for the big fancy graphics? There you go. Look at that. Just terrible graphic design. I could do something fancier, but Empire. I have another Empire replay going up tomorrow. Yeah, I have another one. So if you guys have any questions, now's the time. Just let me know. I can check anything for you. We'll be here for a little bit, like another 5 or 10 minutes or something. Yeah, sorry for ending it a little bit earlier, the battles. I just have really bad allergies. My throat's like super raw. It's hard to cast. Yeah, Ledron, you just joined. But if you have a question, please just tag at Turin so I see it. People wanted to see the size of chosen models. I think they're the same as before. They were already pretty giant. Are there new elf units? No. Do any sub-factions still get special units? So if you look at the High Elf roster, for example, I'm looking at them right now. They're like the sub-faction thing just doesn't, like Shadow Walkers are now in the main roster. So Shadow Walkers are just in there. High Elves don't get Dryads. No, those sub-factions are gone. So like Avalorn, they don't get that anymore. But if you don't have to play the sub-factions anymore to get the special units. So for example, if you're playing like High Elves, you just get the Shadow Walkers in your main roster. What campaign am I most excited for? I want to play a head-to-head campaign with Karl Franz against some bad guy. That's what I'm most excited for. Do you think Tomb Kings will be solid versus Lizards? Yeah, I think so. I think Tomb Kings have good tools against them. Ushapti Great Bow, Eyes of the Desert, all that kind of stuff. Okay, sorry guys, I'm just trying to keep up with these. Oh my god, that was a lot of questions. Wow, hold on. How are the new ethereal units? Much better. Much better. After the changes they got, they're just super strong. What's the biggest winners and losers in the Magic department? Pendulum and Burning Head are probably the biggest losers, and the biggest winners are probably Vortex spells and Bombard spells. Yeah. Empire is still my favorite, yes. How's my boy Krokar? He's good. Krokar is a niche. He's got a good sniping, good mobility. Like if you're in a matchup where you really need anti-large, he's good. Are High Elves the worst? No. I would say Dwarves are weaker than High Elves. Yeah. Ivan says, with Vampire Count Infantry getting buffed, did Death Guard get any changes? No, they didn't. And they should. Death Guard they should be buffed. They're really terrible. Can you show any of the Warriors of Chaos marks? I don't think so. I don't think I have them on this build. If they do exist there. Which factions receive the biggest buffs? Vampire counts, for some godforsaken reason. We know that Nurgle got poison Warhounds. Did the other mono gods get any additional units? Let me look. So Slaanesh has Sigvald here. Okay. Looking at Tzeentch. Tzeentch is the same. And looking at Khorne. Khorne got Brutes of the Hound, the Norscan ROR. We saw that in the replays earlier. That's pretty much it. That's all I can see here. So, sec. Where are we at? Precipitous says, first up, how did the Monogod Chaos factions that correspond with Warriors of Chaos like Marauders of Slaanesh and Warriors of Chaos Khorne change? Let me look. I don't know. It doesn't look like they got changed much. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of micro-level changes. I'm going to ask Creative Assembly if I can get some like patch notes. New Elves? No. Has Martial Prowess? Yeah, Martial Prowess for the Elves got changed. Let me go ahead and answer that for you. So Martial Prowess is active if your hit points are above 25% now. And it got buffed. So Martial Prowess is 12 melee defense now and 2 melee attack. So it's better. It used to be 50%, I think. So High Elves definitely got a big buff across the board with that. All right. Reaper, even if I did, I couldn't answer that question. Does Archaon have any more attributes other than Kindle Flame? Okay, let me go and double check this. So going to Chaos. So Archaon has Kindle Flame, Paragon of Rune for charge bonus and ITP for nearby units. And the Crown, gives ITP and also makes Archaon cause terror, but he does not have any other traits. He only has Kindle Flame, despite having Shadow Magic and other things like that. Okay, let me scroll up. Oh my god, there's so many. Okay, I'm trying to... YouTube's not very good at holding my spot. Yeah, so Henry Le Massif is in Bretonnia, and he can be used with Bretonnia now, even if you have a different lord. So you could go King Lewin and Henri Le Massif. With Dowie being weak in Domination, do you think the Empire is better? Yeah, Empire will be better against Dwarves now, because they can play the side objectives way better. Are broken things... Yeah, they're gonna fix most of the changes. Yeah, but obviously if there's something really broken, like actually mechanically broken, we would not allow it in events. Can Dwarves get Angren Ghost Heroes? Let me check. Dwarves. They can't get all of them, but they can get one. Yeah, so Dwarves can get Hans Valhirsen. They can get the one from the campaign. So Dwarves do get an ethereal hero in their main roster. You don't have to go for Clan Angren anymore. Can Skrulk be taken in Nurgle? No, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? All right. If you can make... Hey, Dom, thank you. Can Ariel fly? No. If you could make one change to multiplayer meta, what would it be? You know, honestly, I would just tune down the vampire counts a little bit. That's a really complex question. I'd have to do that. But vampire counts are the only one that feels really unfun to play against. Any changes on the lore of Nehekara? Let me go ahead and double check here. It looks the same. It looks the same to me. Yeah. Wood Elves, lore of Shadow or Life? So Shadow is really good. It depends on what you're trying to do, but overall I think Shadow is going to be a consistently stronger lore of magic because of Pit of Shades. Are High Elves improved? Yes. Martial Mastery got buffed. There's a lot more. Do Frostheart Phoenixes have Frostbite? Let me go ahead and double check. No. No, they don't. How good are Dwarves? Dwarves are a lower tier faction, but they have niche matchups where they can do well. And maps. Dwarves are going to be one of the weaker, less played factions, but if they're on the right map against the right enemy, they can be very dominant. Yeah, it really depends. How hard did the capture weight changes hit the ogres? Nobody's been able to really play the ogres much because they're currently bugged. They have a graphic issue, so nobody's playing the ogres. So we can't, we don't really know yet. They should be fine though. Any changes to Bretonnia or Empire you noticed? Bretonnia being able to bring Henri Le Massif is pretty rad. Green Knight seems really good for some reason. I don't know why. He also got, Green Knight also got Frostbite, but Bretonnia seems good because Cavalry got buffed capture weight, so Bretonnian cav spam can really be incredibly strong. Empire, one of the big like MVPs for Empire for me has been the Free Company Militia because they have Vanguard deployment and good capture weight, so that's really nice for them. But other than that, like, yeah, they both feel fine. They both feel fine. What do you think about Bretonnia's Pegasus Knights? They're okay. Yeah, they're okay. I don't know. I prefer the ground-based knights because they have capture weight, but they can do those ones can be okay if you're trying to defend a position. Can Plague Monks beat Bloodletters? No. Bloodletters will kick their butts. Do the Warriors of Chaos ROR units have... let me check. So I'll go to Chaos and check Mirror Guard. So when I look at Mirror Guard here... Where the hell are they? I'm trying to like find something here. Do we have Mirror Guard here? Do we have them? I don't even see them. Huh. Weird. Yeah, very weird stuff. Did they change or buff Grombrindle? No, he's the same, but he has Flash Bomb, so that's good. I think he got Flash Bomb back. Didn't he lose that? Yeah. So Grombrindle lost Flash Bomb, but I think he has it back now. Yeah, he does. So that's really nice. Let's see, Lone Space Drone. Nope, that's not the case. Yeah, Grombrindle's good. Flash Bomb is very nice. Have you ever seen Khorne win? Yeah, Khorne is one of the stronger factions, but obviously the replays I showed you today, they didn't win, but you have to remember there's different skill levels with the players playing, so that's often going to be a determining factor. Like, even if I'm playing a faction that Khorne's good against, if I'm much better than the, or, you know, much more practiced, I should say, than the player I'm playing against, I might still win. Any changes to the rune magic? No, it seems pretty much the same. Did Queek get any changes besides his start position? Let's go check. I'm going to Queek Headtaker. I wish I could just like show the menus to you guys. Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, let's see here. No, not really. Queek looks the same. Yeah, he looks the same. All right. Can you still get unmarked Chaos Warriors who chosen with Yeah, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, you saw in the replay today, there was basic Chaos Warriors coming out. Yeah, so you can still get those. Stromboli, Ravioli, Indie Pride. What do you think about the new Slaanesh Lord they're adding? He looks cool in the trailer, for sure. I mean, I have no idea. And even if I did, I couldn't talk about it, what he would function like, but we'll see. Can Ariel fly? No. Nakai is, yes, he's good. Nakai is going to be a competitive staple. He got a buff. His item gives ward save now and more ward save, and it's just really strong. Any notable changes to Beastmen? Not really, but Beastmen are quite good. All right. Any buffs to Skaven? No, not really, but Skaven don't need them. Skaven got a lot of tricks. Biggest Empire counter? Ooh, man. I don't know. What's really good against Empire? I mean, there's a bunch of, Slaanesh is really good against the Empire, I would say. I would say that Khorne is very good against the Empire. Nurgle, not so much. Tzeentch is, I think, a 50-50. Cathay is actually really good against the Empire, because they beat your infantry, and then they can trade missile to missile with you. I think Cathay will be a hard matchup for the Empire. Vampire counts wreck the Empire, too, so there's a whole bunch. Do the Total War Warhammer 2 armies have visual buffs? Some. Hey, Turin, there's a YouTube video of the spell Devolve being OP. Yeah, it is true. Yeah. It'll get fixed, though. I mean, that's the thing. This is a very early access build, right? They're gonna fix all the shit, hopefully, before it launches. And if they don't, we'll make adjustments for our events. Who would you say is the worst legendary lord in battles? Tretch is pretty terrible. Tretch Graventail literally brings nothing to the table. He's pretty trash. How will the Dark Elves fare against newer factions? Pretty good. So Dark Elves, I would say against Cathay, it's 50-50. Dark Elves against Khorne is not bad, actually. They have good armor piercing. Yeah, I mean, Dark Elves are fine. I feel like Dark Elves are good. I haven't really tried Hammer as much. They seemed okay in the matches I'm doing. Our Sisters of Twilight still... Well, it depends on your perspective, but they're still good, yes. Is the Fey Enchantress? She's very good. But Lewin is also very good, because you have to remember, some maps have elevation, so they can go up and down. And Lewin can go up these giant cliffs and go fight on a point, whereas Fey Enchantress is grounded. So, but I still think Fey is probably the best choice, but Norska actually doesn't feel as bad as you think. Norska actually feels good. Famir are pretty decent. There's a lot of options. Is Vlad and Isabella in one army competitive? I don't know about that. They're both kind of expensive, so it's hard to say. Corvid, Anticity made a video about comparing armor to ward save. Do you think ward save is a bit overrated? Well, I mean, it's a separate statistic, so comparing them is it's just nice to have both. Ward save is good, but I don't know why you would compare those two per se. It's a different thing. Armor is generally pretty good. But ward save is nice because it reduces magic damage and whatnot too. Or spells, How do vampire counts do against Tzeentch? Pretty good, actually, because Tzeentch really struggles against armor right now. So what you do with vampire counts is you spam Chaffee and then a million Black Knight units and you just run them down. It's pretty hard for Tzeentch to stop it, in my experience. Because you have no halberd type units, right? So you just kind of get wrecked. Have Swordmasters gotten martial mastery now? Let's look. So Swordmasters have martial prowess. And Phoenix Guard have martial mastery, which is 12 melee defense, 8 melee attack. But Swordmasters, for some godforsaken reason, have martial prowess. I don't know why. Nobody's really been using Daniel. Most people just use the Be'lakor, so I haven't really been able to see him. Is Scarbrand a better pick in any specific matches? Yeah, Scarbrand's actually really good against vampire counts. I had a game with Khorne versus vampire counts where Khorne usually loses that matchup, in my experience, but the enemy vampire lord got rampaged and killed by Scarbrand, and I was able to win the game with Khorne. That replay will come out sometime next week. But Scarbrand is niche, but situationally he's pretty good. I mean, being able to rampage and kill something is very good. Where do you do your stream announcements? It's kind of random, dude, but I'll try and be better about it. Usually Discord and Twitter is where I do it, but I forgot both today. I was feeling kind of destroyed by allergies when I woke up. How do you think vampire counts need to be nerfed? I don't know. They should probably make skeletons and zombies have terrible capture weight, because I think they have good capture weight. Skeletons and zombies need to have their capture weight lowered. It's just stupid how quickly they can steal things from you. Vampire struggle against anyone? No, I don't think so. The only matchup that's kind of hard for vampire counts is Lizardmen. And that depends on the map too. Is Kolek Sound Eater back? Yeah, he is. Bob, we had a Kolek game earlier where Kolek got 4,000 or 5,000 value. He's really good. But Chaos has a bunch of great choices. Archeon's really good. Life's treating him well. Does any faction lord get boost to spell mastery intensity like Cathay? No, I don't think so. Were there any changes to Bretonia's flying cav? Not that I can see. No, they're the same. They're okay. I think their ground-based cav is better though. Which form of Graveguard do you think is best into the demons? Probably the shielded variant, like Sternsman, because they have higher melee defense, and typically demons have light armor, so you don't really need the great weapon there. Who's the biggest winner for the mono gods? Well, we have to wait and see, Chris. We have to wait and see. Is Archaon worse now, being huge? No, I don't think so. Archaon feels pretty good now. Our high elves are like lower mid tier, I would say. Like lower mid tier. They're not like terrible. High elves are better than dwarves for sure, sadly, as much as it pains me to say that. High elves actually have some good choices because they have decent infantry. They have pretty good cav actually, which is really a staple of domination right now. And their lords aren't bad either. They have really good magic, you know. Yeah, I don't know why zombies and skeletons still have good capture weight. It's weird. Any matchups where Throg is a strong pick? Yeah, Throg is not bad against like Nurgle. Like Throg fighting like the Nurgle monsters is pretty decent, and the Nurgle lords. Although against Nurgle, I'd probably opt for like Wolfric on a Mammoth. I'd have to think about Throg. Like anyone who's a fighter faction, like I would probably still use Throg against Beastmen. Yeah, this will be uploaded to YouTube as a video. Is there any reason to pick the other Bloodline Lords? I haven't experimented too much with vampire counts, so we'll hold the phone on that. Dowie versus Khorne, who wins? I think if you have two equally skilled players, Khorne will win more often than Dowie will. But you know, if it depends on the map too. You have to give me a map because maps are such an important variable. In Warhammer 2 land battles, almost every map was pretty much the same, like Oakenhammer, Galbaraz. They're all open field. There's no terrain. But now that we have domination with choke points, terrain, like it really changes the matchups. So I need more specifics. Should domination have permanent death for units? I think so, but a lot of people disagree with me. But I personally feel that units, when they die in domination, there should be no unsummoning and units shouldn't come back. I don't care if the battle gets small towards the end. I think that's fun. But it needs to be tested. I could be wrong. Like, I would like to see there be like a beta for that or a mod that allowed us to test that and we could see how it is. Because that's a big change. I'm not a game designer, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Cool. Slaanesh versus Norska. You know what? It's actually not bad for Norska. It's a pretty even matchup, I would say. Dob posted Norska versus Khorne. The Flaming Sword of Ruin is such a hard counter. Yeah, I posted that on my channel too, Dom. That was me versus him. I was playing as Norska there. To be fair though, Dom, the build he brought was a little bit suboptimal there in that matchup, so I don't think that's fair. How are Wood Elves doing? They're really good. Like, I'm probably 4 wins and 1 loss with Wood Elves in the early access, but we only showed you the 1 loss. What factions need to be touched up the most? Norska obviously needs some new shit, and I think like factions like Empire are going to be hard. Maybe they need some buffs or something. I don't know. Favorite Skaven Legendary Lord? Oh, that's so hard, man. Oh, they're all so fun. I'm a Skrulk man. I like the Stinky Rat. He's a lot of fun. How was the missile meta? So value trading is actually really big in domination right now, more so than playing the objectives at times. But again, it just depends on the map and the matchup. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Medi though, regarding that, the permanent death tournaments, he didn't have reinforcements in that event, and he also didn't have the comeback mechanic was still in the game. So that was the problem with that. What are Nurgle's best matchups in domination? They don't really have too many, but maybe they're okay against Beastmen. Like, I feel like Nurgle can trade okay into Beastmen. Nurgle just needs more stuff. They're just very bare bones. All right, guys. That is going to be it. Queen Bess in domination, a dream. The only reason we're not using Queen Bess in domination replays is because it's broken right now. Queen Bess has a bug with it where it has infinite ammo. So it's just nobody's using it for that reason. But Queen Bess is super, super good. Yeah. I'm telling you, Queen Bess is going to be beast mode. I've had games where it just dominates so hard. Yeah, we did Vampire Coast. We had 2 of them today. We had 1 win and 1 loss, I think. There's a bloaty game against Dwarves, which is crazy. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I'm going to go hang out with the smoking hot wife. Hopefully we answered most of your questions. Again, sorry we're cutting a little bit short. Just damn allergies today. I'm suffering pretty bad. But appreciate you all. What a blast this was. And dude, give me the tournaments. Give it to me, precious. I want it. I'm going to be having an update on the website soon that will track win to loss rates. Yeah, Age of Empires tomorrow, correct. But still, Total War replays will be going up. But I'm going to have an update on the website, Total Tavern, where we can track win to loss rates. So when Immortal Empires comes out and people start hosting tournaments on the tavern, including myself, we'll be able to track the win and loss rates in every single matchup in all the different things. So we can it's going to be so cool. The amount of data we're going to have is going to be great. Anyways, guys, that is it for today. Appreciate you all. See you next time. Take care of yourselves. Dragons are still terrible. Yeah, dragons suck. Hey, Nick, appreciate that, man. Good night, guys. Take care. Hey, appreciate you all. If you enjoyed this, do drop a like on the way out. We'll be back. I need to build up a lot more replays before we do another cast like this, because I'm out now. So I'll get to work. All right, guys, take care. See you next time. And that is going to be it for today.